Chapter 21-23. They had to admit that the opponent's bloodline power was too powerful. It was far beyond that of a human. Would this brat be able to withstand it? It would be difficult, unless he also had a heaven-defying bloodline power, or a heaven-defying cultivation technique. Otherwise, he wouldn't have a chance at all. It would be good enough if he could protect himself. Perhaps it wouldn't take long for him to be killed. These people didn't think highly of Lin Xian because the dark demonic crocodile's reputation was too strong. Moreover, the crocodile in front of them displayed a heaven-defying bloodline power that shocked the royal elders. Lin Xian also felt a great pressure. The huge shadow pressed down on him like 100,000 mountains, causing the blood in his body to freeze. However, he snorted coldly. The great dragon sword mark in his body quickly circulated and eliminated the pressure brought by the bloodline. Then, he waved the long sword in his hand. Buzz, buzz. Chaotic Heaven Destroyer Sword. Streams of terrifying sword chi slashed down mercilessly like the beginning of the universe. In the next moment, the chaotic sword chi collided with the crocodile shadow. A thunderous sound was heard, followed by an earth-shattering explosion of energy that swept in all directions. He blocked it. He actually blocked it. Heavens, what kind of sword technique is he using? How can he block the bloodline power of an Archean beast? These people went crazy. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to block it. The sword technique was too powerful. Could it be a heaven-class cultivation technique? Some of the royal elders frowned. It couldn't be. Heaven-class cultivation techniques were extremely rare. How could this kid have one? They didn't know, but other than that, there was no other explanation. Everyone looked at the light screen and swallowed their saliva. They realized that the battle prowess that Lin Xian had displayed was beyond their expectations. Roar. The dark demonic crocodile also roared. It didn't expect a human to be able to resist its bloodline power, which made it furious. So in the next moment, it launched another attack. After a roar, the huge, dark demonic crocodile shadow above it also let out an earth-shattering roar. Countless layers of clouds scattered, and the terrifying spatial crack extended for an unknown distance. This sound was simply too terrifying. It shattered the world and tore the void apart. Then, in the terrifying sky, a huge black crocodile, as if it had been resurrected from ancient times, charged down rapidly. This scene was simply too terrifying. It was as if a comet had crashed into the earth. The mountains, rivers, and forests below were all collapsing. It couldn't withstand this power at all. Seeing this, Lin Xian let out a cold snort, and the great dragon sword soul in his body began to circulate madly. At the same time, he once again unleashed his chaotic sword chi. The chaotic sword chi intertwined with each other and quickly slashed towards the sky. Instantly, the void shattered completely. Lin Xian retreated several thousand meters, his face pale. On the other side, the gigantic ancient silhouette was also blocked. In fact, there was even a crack on it. What? He cut open the ancient phantom. How did he do it? These people were all crazy. This was completely beyond their understanding. The black crocodile was also furious. Its body was trembling. Because the ancient phantom had been slashed apart, it had also caused him a certain amount of damage. Its red eyes were filled with malice as it stared at Lin Xian. At that moment, the Crimson Dragon sent a voice transmission. Kid, get him in here. I have a way to deal with him. That was a real ancient beast. Its entire body was a treasure. Hearing the Crimson Dragon's words, Lin Xian also sent a voice transmission. Leave the monster soul for me. I have a use for it. Then, he took a step forward, and the aura of the great dragon sword soul erupted from his body again. In fact, a dragon-shaped phantom appeared from his body. Seeing this scene, the pupils of the royal family elders constricted. They were extremely shocked. That was the aura of the path of the dragon. Could he be a member of the royal family? They were too shocked, because only the imperial family could achieve this kind of true dragon blessing. But now, the young man in front of them had done it. What was going on? Could he really be a member of the royal family? That's impossible. He's definitely not from the royal family. Could it be that he's from another dynasty? These people frowned. However, at that moment, the eyes of the older generation experts were solemn. It was as if a knife had pierced through the void. Although it's also the aura of the Path of Dragon, it should be different from that of the royal family. This kid must have some kind of secret technique. Indeed, it has nothing to do with our dragon bloodline. At that moment, the emperor also spoke. Hearing this, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it had nothing to do with him. If it did, they would probably go crazy. The third prince and the others were also shocked. They did not expect the Azure Dragon Phantom to appear on Lin Xin's body. It was indeed very surprising. The aura on Lin Xin's body made the black crocodile tremble uneasily. In the next moment, the dark demonic crocodile roared and charged forward with the terrifying ancient phantom. The Azure Dragon Phantom on Lin Xin's body soared into the sky and turned into the Dragon Sword realm, slashing in all directions. It collided with the incomparably terrifying ancient phantom. In the sky, the Azure Dragon Phantom and the Crocodile Phantom were constantly fighting. A terrifying aura exploded in an instant, and the world went berserk. Endless light and endless figures were rolling in every corner of the void. They were like stars colliding with each other. Buzz. Everything around them was annihilated. No one could see the figures of Lin Xian and the black crocodile clearly. At that moment, a ball of golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. Suddenly, mysterious runes appeared in his eyes one after another. Heavenly secret divine eyes, floating light. Buzz. A terrifying eye technique was used. The black crocodile was suddenly attacked and its body stiffened. Then, it let out a crazy roar. The sound waves turned into sharp swords and pierced through the void, causing great destruction in the sky. It was too terrifying. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. Everyone was extremely shocked. Damn it! What the hell was going on? They all looked forward, wanting to see clearly. However, there was a vast ocean and endless light. It was like an exploding sun. They could not see clearly at all. The royal family elders were also extremely shocked. They also wanted to see clearly, but they were watching from the outside through the light screen. They were not there personally, so they could not see clearly either. If they were there personally, they might be able to see clearly with their powerful strength. However, there was nothing they could do now. However, in the endless light, Lin Xian shouted coldly. The great dragon sword soul appeared in his hand and turned into an azure dragon. It slapped forward. In an instant, it slammed into the black crocodile and immediately knocked it to the ground. This slap was too terrifying. The power of the great dragon sword soul completely exploded. Immediately, cracks appeared on the back of the black crocodile, and blood spurted out. Roar. The pain caused the black crocodile to regain consciousness. It opened its mouth and bit at Lin Xian. Chapter 21-24. However, Lin Xian only sneered and used the floating light in his eyes again. The black crocodile's soul was attacked and became restless again. It trembled violently. However, Lin Xian's palm was like a mountain as it slapped down mercilessly. After more than 10 slaps, the black crocodile's skin and flesh were torn open. Even its bones were exposed. Although it was powerful, it was no match for the dragon sword soul. Seeing that the black crocodile was seriously injured and its soul was attacked, Lin Xian sneered. He knew that it was enough, so he threw the black crocodile into the black earth. He was not worried. With the Crimson Dragon's strength, it was enough to deal with a seriously injured black crocodile. The moment the black crocodile entered the black earth, its aura disappeared. The terrifying primordial shadow above also turned into countless rays of light and scattered. What happened? Could it be that the black crocodile was killed? Seeing this scene, everyone was extremely shocked. The expressions of Daoist Long, the Lord of the Underworld, the Third Prince, and the royal elders changed drastically. They could no longer sense the black crocodile's aura. Roar, roar, roar. At the same time, the other 4 black crocodiles also sensed this scene and became restless. They roared at the sky, and a terrifying aura formed on their bodies. It directly cut through the sun-like light in front of them. Then, Lin Xian's figure appeared. Lin Xian's face was a little pale, but he was not injured. However, there was a pool of blood around him. Every drop was bright red and crystal clear. In the void, Terrifying cracks appeared one after another. Obviously, this was not ordinary blood, but primordial blood. Only this kind of bloodline power, which was very vigorous, could cause the void to be unable to withstand it. This was the black crocodile's blood. The black crocodile was injured? Heavens, how did he do it? Everyone was stunned. Such a terrifying black crocodile's body was comparable to immortal gold. It was a top treasure. It could not be defeated at all. How did the other party cut through its defense? Moreover, the more terrifying question was, where was the black crocodile? They looked around but did not find the black crocodile. Had it been smashed into powder? Impossible. Even if the other party could cut through his defenses, he shouldn't be able to shatter them into dust. That was an immemorial demonic beast. But where did that black crocodile go? They could not understand. They really didn't understand. Not to mention these people. Even the imperial family elders didn't understand. This was completely beyond their understanding. Therefore, someone directly asked, "Kid, where's the black crocodile?" "That's right. You didn't kill him, did you?" The Netherworld King also had a confused look on his face. Everyone looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian shrugged. "I don't have that kind of power yet, but I shattered the void and connected to a void, banishing him." "What? Banished?" Hearing those words, everyone widened their eyes in shock and disbelief. When the elders of the royal family heard this, they were all stunned. How could I not believe it? Could this brat be lying? It's very possible. I also think it's very suspicious. Even I don't have that ability. However, there were also some elders who frowned. That might not be the case. Perhaps that brat had a special cultivation technique. After all, the Gu family of the Eastern Wilderness had that terrifying ability. However, that brat was not from the Gu family. Could it be that he was related to the Gu family in some way? Sounds of discussion could be heard. Obviously, everyone was very shocked. However, they did not know that Lin Xian did not send that thing into the void. Instead, he kept it in his black earth. Of course, he would not tell those people about that. Meanwhile, the third prince and the others did not have much time to be suspicious. That was because the other 4 black crocodiles had charged over again. Not only that, but the 4 crocodiles seemed to have gone crazy. That was because one of their companions had disappeared. Moreover, the blood floating in the void had provoked them even more. Roar, roar, roar. The 4 black crocodiles roared furiously. Then, the 4 black crocodiles activated the power of their bloodlines, as if they had gone crazy. Immediately, the silhouettes of the immemorial demonic beasts appeared in the sky. "Oh no, those beasts are going crazy." The third prince shouted coldly when he saw that scene. Taoist Master Long and the Lord of the Underworld's expressions changed drastically. They had seen the power of the immemorial demonic beasts. It was extremely terrifying. At that moment, the 4 crocodiles had gone crazy together. They were not very confident. Lin Xian's expression was also solemn. To be honest, he also wanted to get a black demonic crocodile. That was because it was an immemorial beast, and its entire body was a treasure. However, he probably did not have the chance now. The 4 crocodiles acted together and did not give him a chance at all. He might be able to fight against one of them, but he really could not defeat 4 of them. Therefore, in the next moment, he said in a deep voice, "Taoist Master Long, hurry up and trap them with your formation. Let's leave. Give us some time, and we can quickly get rid of them." "All right." Taoist Master Long also nodded. Indeed, it would not be beneficial for the black crocodiles to continue fighting. Therefore, he formed a hand seal with his palm. Immediately, the formation that covered a radius of 10,000 miles shook rapidly. Then, it quickly shrank and covered a radius of 100 miles. Taoist Master Long and the others soared into the sky and quickly left. "Follow them." When the third prince and the others saw that, they sped up and followed closely behind Taoist Master Long and the other 2. They did not want to stay there, because with their strength alone, they could not fight against the remaining 4 black crocodiles. In an instant, everyone left the formation. The formation emitted light and formed a cage that completely imprisoned the 4 crocodiles. Boom, boom, boom. Behind them, the 4 black crocodiles crazily crashed into the formation, making earth-shattering sounds. Taoist Master Long's expression was solemn when he saw that. He said in a deep voice, "Hurry up and run. My formation can only last for 10 seconds." What? Only 10 seconds? Hearing that, many people felt their scalps go numb. However, they could not care less now. They had to use their fastest speed within 10 seconds to completely get rid of those guys. Boom! The third prince roared, and the aura of the Path of Dragon quickly appeared on his body. Then, it turned into a true dragon that enveloped him and the people around him. As for the almighties around him, they also sent out streams of energy into the aura of the Tao of Dragon. Immediately, the true dragon's shadow continued to expand until it was 100 feet tall. Then, with a swing of its tail, it directly tore through the void and disappeared. Damn, the third prince is too shameless. He actually used the aura of the Path of Dragon. He's not taking us with him. When the Lord of the Underworld saw that, his face turned green. The other party is running too fast. If this continued, they would be the unlucky ones. Please recommend, subscribe, bookmark, and reward me. Chapter 21-25. At the same time, dragon-shaped shadows appeared on Lin Xian's body. Then, he quickly said, "There's no time. Hurry up and follow me." Boom! The Lord of the Underworld and Taoist Master Long came to Lin Xian's side. Then, the energy in their bodies erupted and poured into the dragon-shaped aura. Then, Lin Xian performed the demigods and demigods and demigods. He seemed to have transformed into a real dragon and was flying in the sky at an extremely fast speed. In an instant, the 3 of them disappeared on the spot. Indeed, 10 seconds later, the formation behind them was shattered. Then, 4 black crocodiles rushed out. They were extremely ferocious like demons, roaring in all directions. Their red eyes quickly looked through the void, trying to find Lin Xian and the others. However, Lin Xian, the third prince, and the others had already used their maximum speed and left quickly. Therefore, the 4 crocodiles couldn't be found immediately. However, the 4 crocodiles didn't give up. After all, they had lost one of their companions. This made them extremely angry. Therefore, the 4 immemorial beasts discussed and decided to search from 4 directions. One crocodile looked for a direction. Soon, they turned into black lightning and left quickly. One of the crocodiles flew towards the west. After flying for about 2 hours, he roared excitedly. That was because he smelled the scent of a human. The scent of a human stimulated the crocodile even more. He increased his speed without hesitation. Whoosh! When he saw a golden figure, he quickly rushed over. Like a black sword, he pierced through the void. There was indeed someone in front, and it wasn't an ordinary person. It was someone who looked like the Sun War God. He was flying at high speed, but soon, he stopped and frowned. The reason for that was because he sensed a threat rapidly approaching him. Therefore, in the next moment, he snorted coldly. The golden light on his body shone even brighter and then exploded. Boom! A golden light spread out in all directions with him as the center. The surrounding void instantly shattered. This was an extremely powerful absolute power, and nothing could stop it. In the next moment, the black crocodile was also hit by the golden light and was sent flying. Boom, boom, boom. The dark demonic crocodile stopped in its tracks, infuriated. The reason for that was because his opponent had actually sent him flying. What was that? At the front, the Golden War godlike silhouette frowned. He was none other than the Golden Lion King who arrived last. The Golden Lion King's golden hair fluttered in the wind. Its expression was incomparably solemn. He stared at the black figure in front of him, his eyes flickering. He then said coldly, "Primordial demonic beast." To think that he would meet a primordial demonic beast here. Obviously, he recognized the origin of this black crocodile. But then, a cold smile appeared on his face. It was rumored that primordial demonic beasts were filled with treasures from head to toe. It was truly fortunate for him to encounter one this time. Let me see if this primordial demonic beast is as powerful as the legends say. Wong. The next moment, the Golden Lion King decisively made its move. Roar! When the black demonic crocodile saw that a human dared to take the initiative to attack it, it was infuriated. With a sway of his body, he started over again. Suddenly, a fierce battle broke out. An hour later, the battle ended. In the sky, the huge primordial demonic beast howled in grief. It was torn into two by a golden lion. Then, the black crocodile's body was also torn apart. It was pierced through by a palm. It let out an uneasy roar. It wanted to struggle, but it was powerless. Although its bloodline power was powerful, the golden lion king in front of it also possessed a terrifying bloodline power. Furthermore, this black crocodile had a weakness. It was too young. It could be said that it was still in its infancy. Facing a genius of the war race like the golden lion king, it was still unable to stop it. In the end, the black crocodile was killed. As for the golden lion king, it grabbed the black crocodile's corpse and quickly descended. From the looks of it, it should be searching for the secrets of the primordial demonic beast. No one knew about this matter. That was because of the three powers that entered the dark canyon. Other than Lin Xian, there was only the third prince. The only one left was the golden lion king. During the battle earlier, there was no one around the golden lion king. Those elders of the imperial family could only see the area where the third prince was at. Therefore, they did not know what the golden lion king was doing. On the other side, Lin Xian and the other two left the dangerous place. When they discovered that the black crocodile did not chase after them, the three of them heaved a sigh of relief. Great, they were finally safe. The three of them descended and landed in a forest below. After that, Daoist Long said, "We have been fighting and chasing for the past few days. I'm afraid that we have consumed a lot of energy. In addition to the previous battle, we don't have much spiritual energy left in our bodies. Therefore, we should rest first and recover our bodies to their peak." Lin Xian and the Netherworld King also agreed. After that, Daoist Long once again set up some formations to form a defense. The three of them sat down cross-legged to recover. Lin Xian closed his eyes and his soul entered the black earth. He asked, "How is it, Rizalong? Did you succeed?" What a joke. With Bin Huang taking action, how could it not succeed? The Crimson Dragon said with a smile. Then, he pointed to the side. There was a formation there, and within the formation, the black crocodile was lying. However, at that moment, it was no longer breathing. Not only that, the formation that the Crimson Dragon had set up was very mysterious. The blood in the black crocodile's body had completely flowed out. However, it did not flow out. Instead, under the effect of the formation, it gathered together. This is the primordial demon blood. It contains the power of the dark crocodile's bloodline. Although we can't absorb it, we can use this blood to nourish our bodies. It will definitely make our bodies extremely strong. The Crimson Dragon said, "Kid, you can use the blood too. However, I don't think you'll be interested in the flesh. Let's leave it for Bin Huang." All right, Lin Xian was not very interested in eating crocodile meat either. Therefore, he asked again, "You didn't lose the demon soul, right? I have a use for it." "Don't worry, I left it for you," the Crimson Dragon said with a smile. He waved his dragon claws and immediately took out a small black flag. The small flag was 1/2 meter tall. On it were drawn many ferocious skulls. This was a spirit summoning flag. It was used to store demon souls. At that moment, the dark crocodile's demon soul was inside. That's great. Lin Xian was overjoyed. With the primordial demon soul, the power of the demon-slaying sword formation would definitely increase by another level. That was because the demon-slaying sword formation was formed by using the demon souls of various demon beasts. The stronger the demon soul, the stronger the demon soul's aura. The dark crocodile was a primordial demon beast. Adding its demon soul would definitely increase the power of the demon-slaying sword formation by leaps and bounds. At that moment, Lin Xian asked again, "Where are the two hearts of darkness?" Chapter 21-26. It's with me. The Crimson Dragon opened its mouth and spat out two hearts of darkness. However, the hearts of darkness were slightly different. There was still a black aura surrounding them. It was the aura of death, but more than half of it had been removed. It seemed that it would not take long for the aura of death to be completely removed. All right, you can continue, Lin Xian said. Leave me one heart of death and a portion of the immemorial demon blood. You and Xiaobai can split the rest. With that, Lin Xian exited the black earth. However, a black spirit summoning banner appeared in his hand. Lin Xian took a deep breath as he held the black spirit summoning banner. He did not use it immediately. Instead, he put it away. In the next moment, he began to recover his lost energy. After half a day, he had returned to his peak state. Then, he stood up and said, "Gentlemen, I have some enlightenment from the previous battle. Now, I would like to practice my skills. Give me a day. After a day, we will meet here." With that, Lin Xian shot up into the sky and disappeared into the forest. He wanted to refine the demon-slaying sword formation. Naturally, he could not do it in front of Taoist Long and the Lord of the Underworld. He had to find a place where no one was around and set it up properly. After flying at a high speed, Lin Xian made sure that it was safe. Then, he landed in a valley. He raised his hand and set up countless formations to form a safe defense. Then, blood-red runes flashed under his feet and formed a blood-red sword diagram that emitted the aura of a sea of blood. Lin Xian waved his hand and took out the spirit summoning banner again. Then, he waved his hand and the spirit summoning banner swayed gently, emitting a black aura. Then, the demon soul of a dark crocodile appeared. This demon soul was extremely ferocious. As soon as it appeared, it charged towards Lin Xian crazily. Whoosh! A strong wind blew between heaven and earth. A terrifying demonic aura swept across the area and tore the void apart. Although it did not have a physical body, the demon soul was still extremely terrifying. After all, it was the demon soul of an immemorial demon beast. Oomph! Lin Xian snorted. The dragon's fright, which was inside his body, turned into a green dragon and charged towards the demon soul. Then, the dark crocodile's demon soul trembled and was knocked to the ground, rolling non-stop. Although he was strong, how could he be stronger than the great dragon sword spirit? Therefore, he could not resist Lin Xian at all. Lin Xian waved his hand. Instantly, countless blood-red sword tattoos vibrated rapidly. Then, streaks of blood-red sword qi turned into red ribbons and firmly locked onto the immemorial demon soul. Refine. Lin Xian snorted and sat down cross-legged. On his body, countless sword qi and the demon-slaying sword formation merged into one as they began to completely refine the immemorial demon soul. One day later, Lin Xian opened his eyes and a smile appeared on his face. After a day and night of continuous cultivation, he finally completely refined the immemorial demon soul. As expected, the raging beast soul was gone. It had merged with the demon-slaying sword formation. It disappeared. With a wave of his hand, the sword qi in the air swiftly intertwined with one another to form a massive silhouette of an ancient beast. It was a black crocodile. Its body was so huge that it could crush the void like a black mountain. There was a terrifying, murderous aura on his body. Success. Looking at this scene, Lin Xian's lips curled into a grin. He had finally succeeded in cultivating the primordial demon soul. Its power was twice as strong as before. If he were to unleash the immemorial demon soul, even an elite mighty figure would not be able to withstand it. Lin Xian's strength had increased again. Then, without further delay, he put away the soul demon sword formation and soared into the sky, returning to where he came from. Soon, he met up with Taoist Long and the Lord of the Underworld. "Kid, what have you been doing? Why are you being so mysterious?" The Lord of Humor was puzzled. Lin Xian smiled and did not say anything. Then, he said, "Where are we going now? Let's continue moving. Now that 5 days have passed, we still have half the time." Taoist Long said in a deep voice, "As for the third prince, don't bother about them. This place is too big. If we look for them alone, it will be difficult. Let's see what treasures there are around." Okay. Lin Xian and the Lord of the Underworld nodded in agreement. To be honest, they were not very interested in chasing after the third prince. Then, the three of them set off. However, the heavens love to joke. They did not deliberately look for the third prince, But after half a day, they still met the third prince and his group. When Lin Xian saw the third prince, he had a strange expression on his face. Taoist Long and the Lord of the Underworld also had unnatural expressions. They really did not want to look for the third prince, but they still met the third prince and his group. When they saw Lin Xian and the other two, the third prince's group looked gloomy, as if they were facing a formidable enemy. The third prince even snorted coldly. "Oomph, you guys are really haunting me. However, if you want to fight, go ahead." Without the threat of the black crocodile, the third prince and his group became arrogant again. He still had more people around him than Lin Xian and the other two, so he was not afraid if they really fought. "Are you very powerful? Why didn't you dare to fart when you were fighting against the black crocodile?" Lin Xian rolled his eyes and sneered. On the other hand, Taoist Long and the Lord of the Underworld looked solemn. Although they came in to find the third prince's whereabouts, they did not have full confidence if they really fought. The third prince's group did not have full confidence, and to be honest, they were not willing to fight. After all, this was the Dark Canyon. There was no danger now, but it did not mean that there would be no danger later. As expected, an old man on the third prince's side stood out. He was an old man in a red robe and had a strong aura. He said in a deep voice, "Everyone, why don't we join forces? We found a cave in front, and I think it should be a ruin. This is the ruin of the Dark Canyon. I don't need to tell you how many treasures there are in it. However, you can imagine how difficult it is. The demonic beasts outside are already so terrifying. Who knows if there are even more terrifying creatures inside? I think we should join forces. As for the battle, it won't be too late to fight to the death after we get out of the Dark Canyon." Taoist Long's eyes flickered when he heard that. He looked at Lin Xian and the Lord of the Underworld. Lin Xian shrugged. "I don't have any objections." The Lord of the Underworld also nodded. "All right, let's join forces first." Taoist Long also nodded in agreement. The third prince heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that. Then, the two parties joined forces and entered the cave. However, they did not know that not long after they entered, a golden figure also landed. Then, he also entered the cave. In the cave, the black wind seemed to be even stronger, and it blew so hard that everyone's souls were about to leave their bodies. Soon, everyone put on their defensive armor and even activated their king's domains. They had to be careful in the face of the unknown and terrifying situation. Chapter 21-27. If another primordial beast appeared, they would definitely be finished. However, there were indeed many treasures inside. Not long after they entered, they found a few stalks of spiritual herbs growing in the corners. In the outside world, it was already extinct. It could be said that it was extremely precious. Everyone's eyes burned with passion when they saw that. At that moment, the red-robed elder on the third prince's side sneered. He said, "Although we've joined hands, it seems like we should talk about the distribution." Hearing that, the third prince also sneered. The elite mighty figures around them were all on guard. They circulated the spiritual power in their bodies as if they were about to attack at any time. It seemed like they were about to fight if they didn't agree. "How do you want to split it?" Taoist Master Long asked in a deep voice. His face was cold and solemn. "You have fewer people, so you can take 30%. We have more people, so we naturally want 70%. This distribution is the most reasonable." "What? We get 30%? Hearing that, the Lord of the Underworld's face darkened. "What a joke. 50-50? Otherwise, let's fight. Let's see who's stronger." To be honest, he was not the type to be bullied. When he entered, he had tacitly agreed to split the loot equally. However, the other party wanted to take 70% for himself. How could that be? "Why? You're not willing? You have no right to bargain in front of Ben Huang." The third prince shouted coldly. The red-robed elder beside him also said, "You three, I think you should think carefully. 30% is already a lot for you. Why are you so greedy? Otherwise, you won't even get 10%. F***ck. This is too much." The Lord of the Underworld was furious. He had tricked them into entering, and then bullied them to take 70% for himself. How could the Lord of the Underworld and the others tolerate that? "Kid, Why don't we attack and beat them up? The Lord of the Underworld looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian could even injure a primordial beast. He was very powerful, which shocked the Lord of the Underworld and the others. Therefore, the Lord of the Underworld wanted to team up with Lin Xian to fight against the third prince. Lin Xian also frowned. When he heard the Lord of the Underworld's words, he also spoke in a deep voice. 30% is indeed not appropriate. However, I don't think you're willing to split it 50 to 50. Huh, kid, what are you talking about? When he heard Lin Xian's words, the Lord of the Underworld was originally quite happy. However, when he heard that Lin Xian wasn't willing to split the loot 50 to 50, he was stunned. What's wrong with this kid? A 50-50 split was the most advantageous for them. Not to mention the Lord of the Underworld, even Daoist Long looked confused. The third prince frowned. What the hell was this kid doing? So he said, "What do you want?" It was very simple. There was no need to split the loot. Everyone would fight for the treasures here based on their own abilities. Lin Xian's lips curled up as he spoke of his plan. What? Fight for it with their own abilities? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. The third prince's side was even more stunned. They had originally thought that Lin Xian would raise some conditions that would resist. However, he didn't expect that the other party would propose such a condition. Immediately, he sneered. Because of a mediocre ability, the other party probably wouldn't even be able to get 10%. Thinking of this, they all sneered in disdain. On the other side, Daoist Long and the Lord of the Underworld were also stunned. Then, the Lord of the Underworld said, "Kid, are you crazy? This is the best choice. I think the two of you should have your own secret methods, right? So, are you willing to split the loot this way?" Lin Xian asked. "I have no problem with that." Daoist Long nodded and agreed to the distribution method. The Lord of the Underworld also sighed. All right. Although he didn't have any secret methods, he was the king of the dark element. In the Dark Canyon, his combat power was enhanced. Therefore, seeing that Lin Xian and Daoist Long had agreed, he had no choice but to agree. It seems that you're overconfident. The third prince sneered. Do you really think that you can do whatever you want just because you can fight against the dark demon crocodile? Indeed, it was shocking that Lin Xian made a dark demon crocodile disappear. However, that didn't mean that Lin Xian was truly powerful. If they really fought for the treasures, he was certain that they would have an absolute advantage. Thinking of this, the third prince sneered. Since we'll fight for it with our own abilities, we'll fight for it with our own abilities. However, don't cry when the time comes. You don't have to worry about that. The Lord of the Underworld snorted coldly, while Lin Xian ignored the third prince and the others. Since they had already decided to fight each other, he wouldn't give up such a good opportunity. In the next moment, he looked at the few herbs in front of him. As an alchemist, Lin Xian had a huge need for herbs. Moreover, he could tell at a glance that the herbs in front of him were definitely extraordinary. They couldn't be found outside at all. Thinking of this, he strode forward. Kid, you're courting death. When the third prince saw Lin Xian swaggering towards the front, intending to pick the spiritual herbs, he was shocked. He was immediately displeased. What a joke. Can't you see that there are so many elite mighty figures here? How can a kid behave so atrociously here? One of the mighty figures was displeased. He sneered, reached out his palm, and grabbed in front of him. He seemed to be attacking Lin Xian, but at the same time, he seemed to be picking the herbs. It could be said that the threat was very obvious. Get lost. Lin Xian's face darkened, and he snorted coldly. He didn't even turn his head and slapped his palm forward. Immediately, a blue icy palm slapped out and collided with the other party's palm. Boom! The ice exploded, and the terrifying aura instantly caused the temperature in the entire cave to plummet. The surrounding ground was covered in frost. The palm of the mighty figure was also covered with a layer of blue frost. A terrifying icy aura surged into his body. Boom! The mighty figure retracted his palm, and his expression became extremely ugly. Kid, you're courting death. In the next moment, he probed his other palm. He quickly struck out. This palm was directly aimed at Lin Xian without any concealment. It was obvious that the mighty figure was furious. Buzz. Lin Xian's body instantly disappeared and reappeared in front of him, dodging the palm. Then, he waved his hand, picked the herbs in front of him, and put them into the black earth. Damn it! Seeing this, the mighty figure roared crazily, while the third prince's face darkened. It's a slap in the face. Previously, they were still mocking Lin Xian that if they fought with their own abilities, they wouldn't be able to get anything. But now, Lin Xian had picked 3 precious herbs right in front of them. If that wasn't a slap in the face, what was? Especially the mighty figure who attacked earlier, his face darkened. He had attacked twice, but he couldn't do anything to Lin Xian, which made him lose face. Kid, hand over those 3 herbs. The mighty figure's eyes were cold as he gritted his teeth and roared. Otherwise, you're dead meat. Chapter 21-28. Lin Xian sneered. Hand it over? Why? Are you an idiot, or are you out of your mind? How can I hand it over when I already have it? He rolled his eyes and sneered at such an unreasonable condition. As for that almighty, he was infuriated. You have a death wish. Since you don't want to cooperate, don't blame me for taking action. You want to snatch it? Let's see if you have what it takes. Lin Xian sneered. Hearing Lin Xian's words, the mighty figure quickly charged over. He extended his palm and slapped down. Instantly, the void trembled and the sun and moon dimmed. Whoosh! Meanwhile, Lin Xian's body moved erratically like a ghost. He turned into countless afterimages and dodged the palm. Then, he arrived near the mighty figure and extended his palm. His 5 fingers formed a claw and bit down like a green dragon. The mighty figure also retreated, but the green dragon palm instantly turned into an ice dragon. It emitted a terrifying chill. In an instant, countless pieces of ice appeared around him. Frost spread under his feet and restricted his speed. The mighty figure felt that the blood in his body was about to freeze. Damn it! What kind of ice is this? Why is it so terrifying? Although he had seen how powerful Lin Xian was before, he did not think that a young man could fight against him. However, after exchanging blows with the other party, he could feel how terrifying the other party was. That chill was really shocking. 6 Directions Divine Fist. With a furious roar, the mighty figure waved his fist and resisted the surrounding ice. Immediately, the surrounding ice shattered. However, Lin Xian's palm landed mercilessly and grabbed the mighty figure's shoulder. Then, he pressed down hard. With a crack, the mighty figure's bones broke. The terrifying chill instantly froze half of his body. You have a death wish. Seeing that, the mighty figure screamed in agony. Then, a hint of madness appeared in his eyes. The other party actually injured him in an instant. It was unforgivable. In the next moment, he wanted to fight with his life. However, at that moment, the third prince snorted and stopped. He could not stand it anymore and said coldly, I'll give you the 3 herbs. Let's go. Next time, I won't let you get it so easily. To be honest, he did not want to give up on these 3 herbs. However, the power that Lin Xian displayed was truly shocking. This was especially true for his subordinate. Half of his body was already sealed in ice. If he continued to fight, he would most likely suffer even more injuries. Therefore, he had no choice but to stop the battle. However, Su Chen sneered when he heard that. Do you think I'll stop just because you say so? Who do you think you are? Third prince, I'm not someone you've invited, so I don't need to listen to your orders. Lin Xian sneered. He was not moved at all. What? Hearing this, the surrounding people were stunned. Even Taoist Long and Lord of the Underworld twitched their mouths. The royal family elders in the Grand Imperial Hall also saw this scene. They, too, felt dizzy. F***CK, what kind of brat is this? He's too arrogant. How dare he directly challenge the third prince? The third prince's face was gloomy. He was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. He was a prince, high and mighty. Moreover, his strength was ranked in the top 3 among the princes. Even the other princes had to be respectful and call him third brother when they saw him, let alone the other mighty figures. Even peerless geniuses like First Blade and Fist Tyrant had to work under him. Who dared to be rude to him? However, this brat in front of him dared to scold him? He even dared to openly defy him. That made the third prince explode with anger. The mighty figures around the third prince were also shocked. Then, they all shouted, "How dare you? Brat, you're too presumptuous. Do you know who you're talking to?" Meanwhile, Lin Xian sneered. "Isn't he just a prince? He's your master, but he has nothing to do with me. Don't try to intimidate me with your words." After saying that, Lin Xian sneered and ignored him. Taoist Long and Lord of the Underworld also laughed when they heard that. Indeed, he's right. The third prince has nothing to do with us. Why? You dare to be arrogant again. Don't blame me for being rude when we get out of here. The mighty figures around them wanted to say something, but the third prince waved his hand and stopped them. Then, his eyes turned cold and there was a hint of murderous intent in them. He stared at Lin Xian. "Brat, very well. You've successfully angered me. No one has ever dared to defy me like this. You're the first. I'll let you know the consequences of offending me. I'll be waiting." Lin Xian turned his head and ignored Prince Huishan. That scene made the third prince explode with anger again. In the next moment, he almost vomited blood because Lin Xian looked at the captured mighty figure again and said coldly, "You're right. You'll have to pay a price if you want to take what's mine. Otherwise, I won't let you leave like this." A cold, murderous intent appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. "Damn it. What are you trying to do?" That mighty figure's face darkened. To be honest, he had wanted to resist, and there was a possibility that he could. But now, while Lin Xian was talking to the third prince, Lin Xian did not stop. The cold aura in Lin Xian's body kept pouring into him, causing half of his body to be completely frozen. The spiritual power and blood in his body were all frozen. It was impossible for him to resist even if he wanted to. He might have a chance if he went all out and did not get seriously injured. But that was only a chance. Lin Xian smiled and looked at him. "Hand over a piece of divine crystal and I'll let you go." "What?" "Hand over a piece of divine crystal." Hearing that, the mighty figure was stunned. The other mighty figures were also stunned. "Damn, this is a robbery. Brat, don't be too arrogant." They roared again, but Lin Xian sneered. "You're right, I'm robbing you. Why? Do you really think that you don't have to pay a price for sneaking up on me? What do you think I am? That I can be bullied by you? If you want to attack me, you'll have to pay a painful price. One piece of divine crystal is not a small amount. I've already frozen half of your body. If you dare to attack, I can guarantee that half of your body will turn into nothingness in an instant. By then, you might be able to hurt me or escape. However, you'll definitely be seriously injured and your combat ability will be greatly reduced. Whether you can recover or not is still unknown. Do you think that one piece of divine crystal in exchange for half of your life is a lot?" Lin Xian ignored the others and said coldly, "I'll give you 5 seconds to consider. If you don't pay me the divine crystal in 5 seconds, I'll cripple half of your body." Overbearing. He's too overbearing. The aura that Lin Xian displayed at this moment had truly shocked everyone present. Even the elders of the royal family were speechless. He's AF** King Bandit. He's a great bandit. However, no one dared to resist. Chapter 21-29. Previously, they thought that Lin Xian did not speak much and was even a little taciturn. They thought that he had a good temper. But now, it seemed that it was not the case at all. He probably could not be bothered with these people. As expected, when these people provoked him, they had to pay a painful price. The mighty one was sweating profusely. He knew that Lin Xian was right. If he attacked now, he might have a chance to seriously injure the other party, but he would definitely be half dead. He did not want to take such a risk, so he could only grit his teeth and take out a piece of green divine crystal. His heart was bleeding. That was because a piece of divine crystal was of great significance to him. He did not have many divine crystals in his entire fortune. Now that he had taken out one of them to buy his life, it really made his heart ache. However, there was nothing he could do. Very well. Lin Xian took the divine crystal, then pushed his palm and sent the mighty one flying. The mighty one quickly retreated and put some distance between them. At the same time, he swallowed a pill. A wave of blazing lava surged out of his body and burned the ice. Soon, he regained his mobility. Then, his face darkened. He roared angrily and was about to attack. However, Lin Xian sneered. What? You still want to attack? However, capturing you this time is not something that can be settled with a piece of divine crystal. You have to think carefully. Buzz. Hearing that, the mighty one stopped in his tracks. His expression was extremely ugly. He gritted his teeth and his eyes flickered. In the end, he snorted coldly. Kid, just you wait. This is not over. He did not attack. Instead, he admitted defeat. The mighty ones on the third prince's side all widened their eyes. This was too illogical. No matter what, they had to fight for at least 300 rounds, killing each other to the death. However, that mighty one did not attack. What's going on? Could it be that this kid's strength is already enough to threaten elite mighty ones? They were extremely shocked, and the way they looked at Lin Xian changed again. Meanwhile, Lin Xian looked at the third prince and the others and sneered. You're welcome to attack me. However, prepare the divine crystals in advance to buy your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Hearing those words, the third prince and the mighty ones beside him were so angry that they vomited blood. Too arrogant. They had never met such an insolent person. However, the other party was so powerful. If they were to attack, Taoist Long and the Lord of the Underworld would not just stand by and watch. He would definitely help Lin Xian. Therefore, it was really not worth it to make a move now. Therefore, the third prince let out a cold sigh and ignored Lin Xian. He would remember this grudge. When he got out, he would gather all his subordinates and kill the other party. But for now, it was better to look for treasures first. After which, the third prince led the group and strode forward, no longer paying any attention to Lin Xian and the other two. The third prince actually gave up. Inside the grand imperial hall, the elders all cried out in surprise and disgust animatedly. Damn, how could he tolerate this? The third prince shouldn't be like this. This was completely out of character for him. That young man. Had he already reached such a terrifying stage? Many people were shocked. However, the people on the eighth prince's side sneered. What third prince? So it turned out that he was just a good-for-nothing. You don't have any courage at all. How could such a person become a prince? That's right. He was a disgrace to the royal family. This was a good opportunity to suppress the third prince's faction. How could they give it up? Immediately, waves of mockery and ridicule were heard. On the other hand, the third prince was so angry that he stomped his feet. Someone retorted, "What do you know? This is called forbearance. Looking at the big picture. Do you understand?" In ancient times, who didn't endure humiliation and look at the big picture? What kind of ability was it to show off one's courage? The one who had the last laugh was the winner. The third prince's side quickly counterattacked. For a time, the hall was extremely noisy. The atmosphere had become extremely tense as they opposed each other. In the dark canyon, the third prince and the others were indeed quickly leading the way. It was not that they were kind, but they wanted to snatch the treasures. If Lin Xian and the other two were in front, they would probably have to fight another big battle. The Lord of the Underworld and Taoist Long looked gloomy, but Lin Xian was very relaxed. Kid, why aren't you anxious at all? The Lord of the Underworld asked. He was very confused. What's the hurry? Lin Xian shrugged. Let them lead the way first. Anyway, it's so dangerous here. Let them take the risk. This way, we'll be safe. But we won't have the chance to hide and snatch the treasures. Is that so? Not necessarily. Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. Soon, at this moment, a series of exclamations came from the third prince's side. It seemed that he had found something good again. Hearing these exclamations, the Lord of the Underworld and Taoist Long also focused their gazes and looked in front of them. Then, they exclaimed, Earth Ganoderma! There's an Earth Ganoderma in front of us. Earth Ganoderma? Hearing this, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Then, a smile appeared on his face. Little White, you can do it now. Lin Xian sent a voice transmission. In the black earth, the little white monkey began to cast a spell while holding the treasure bowl. During this period of time, its strength had also increased. As long as there were no large array formations sealing the treasures, it could snatch them. Of course, if there was an array formation, it might be more troublesome. It would depend on how powerful the array formation was. If the array formation was more powerful than the little white monkey, it wouldn't be able to retrieve the treasures. If not, it could be retrieved. However, there didn't seem to be any array formations around the Earth Racer mushroom, so Lin Xian asked the little white monkey to do it. Whoosh! In front, the third prince and the others were also delighted when they saw the Earth Racer mushroom. Among them, the red-robed elder walked forward and reached out to pluck the Earth Racer mushroom. Buzz! However, before he could do anything, the Earth Racer mushroom in front of him suddenly disappeared, leaving only a root buried in the soil. What's going on? The red-robed elder was stunned. The third prince and all the other powerful beings were stunned as well. They then rubbed their eyes furiously. Where's the Earth Racer mushroom? Why is it gone? Damn it, it's really gone. The red-robed mighty figure walked forward and checked carefully. He realized that it wasn't a trick, but someone had really plucked it. Damn it! Who is it? Who is it? The red-robed elder was furious. He looked around sharply. Like a sharp sword, he quickly cut through the void. However, he didn't find anyone suspicious. The third prince and the others also snorted coldly. They covered the entire cave with their soul power, but they didn't find anything either. What's going on? They were very puzzled. In their opinion, since the item had been stolen, there must be an expert hiding in the surroundings. However, they couldn't find anything despite so many people checking. Could it be that the expert was so powerful that they couldn't detect him? Or was there no expert, and there were other reasons for the disappearance of the Earth Racer mushroom? Chapter 21:30. There were so many of them, but none of them found anything. Could it be that this expert was so powerful that they couldn't detect him? Or could it be that there was no expert, and there were other reasons for the disappearance of the Earth Ganoderma? They couldn't figure it out, but their faces were gloomy and unhappy. Behind him, a red lingji appeared in Lin Xian's hand. However, he quickly put it away with a flip of his wrist. Taoist Master Long and the Lord of the Underworld were stunned, although their eyes were focused in front of them, and they even used their soul power to detect the unknown mysterious expert. However, their shockwaves still swept over to Lin Xian's side. They vaguely saw a collar appear in Lin Xian's hand. However, when they wanted to take a closer look, they realized that the Ganoderma in Lin Xian's hand had disappeared. What was going on? Could it be that this kid did it? The Lord of the Underworld and Taoist Master Long were also stunned. Furthermore, they recalled how Lin Xian had been following behind the third prince at a leisurely pace, looking very relaxed. They thought it was strange, but now it seemed that Lin Xian had some kind of secret technique that allowed him to retrieve items from a distance. Therefore, he wasn't worried that the third prince and the others would take it away. This kid was too mysterious. The two of them were extremely shocked. Although they had lived for thousands of years, they had never seen such a mysterious young man. In front of them, the third prince and the others looked around but didn't find anyone suspicious. Finally, they turned around and fixed their eyes on Lin Xian and the other two. If there was anyone suspicious, it would be the three people behind them. What are you looking at? Fight me if you don't like it. The Lord of the Underworld glared at the third prince and the others when they turned around. Hearing that, the third prince couldn't help but feel the blood in his body rushing to his head. He was about to go berserk. Since when did a mighty figure dare to talk back to him? However, he had endured for so long. If he lost his temper now, all his efforts would be in vain. Moreover, the other party wasn't simple. He knew that the Lord of the Underworld was a king of darkness, and he had a special bonus in the Dark Canyon. He didn't know how strong his combat power was. However, he still snorted coldly. I suspect that it was the three of you who did it. The three of you should obediently walk to the front, the third prince said in a deep voice, because he couldn't see clearly from behind. If he let the three of them walk in front, he could scout for danger. Secondly, if these people wanted to make a move again, they would be able to discover it immediately. At that time, he would definitely not let these people off. The Underworld King and Taoist Long immediately smiled when they heard that. They had wanted to go to the front for a long time. The corners of Su Qin's mouth also curled up. It didn't matter where it was. He didn't care. Therefore, in the next moment, the three of them strode forward. Haha, the feeling of walking at the front is different. What a wide field of vision. The Lord of the Underworld was extremely excited. He rubbed his large hands together and scanned the surroundings with lightning speed. On the side, Taoist Long also looked solemn. Clearly, they would not return empty-handed after coming to the front. At the very least, he had to obtain a large number of treasures. Lin Xian had a smile on his face, and a faint light flickered in his eyes. Since they were in front of him, he acted even more directly. Because he had the eye technique and his powerful soul power, he could see further. Therefore, the treasures in the distance had not been discovered by the third prince yet, and he had asked Snowy White Marquis to pick them up from a distance. The ones near him were the joint efforts of the Lord of the Underworld and Taoist Long. That was the dark demon metal. The Lord of the Underworld's eyes lit up. Then, he reached out his palm and grabbed in front of him. Behind him, the third prince and the others also noticed this and quickly made their moves. The Lord of the Underworld roared, "Get lost, all of you!" As he spoke, two purple wings appeared on his back. They turned into heavenly swords and swept out. Clang! Then, it collided with the mighty figures behind him, making an earth-shattering sound. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the Lord of the Underworld's palm grabbed the dark demon metal and put it away. F***CK. The faces of the mighty figures behind him turned green with anger. What a joke! How could they allow these people to take away the treasures that they found? Therefore, in the next moment, they all roared, "Damn it! Hand it over." The Lord of the Underworld sneered. Hand it over? What a joke. Didn't we agree to rely on our own abilities? If I get it, it's mine. These people were so anxious that they almost vomited blood. Previously, when the three of them were at the back, they couldn't get anything. Now that the three of them were at the front, they couldn't get anything either. Could it be that the three of them were sent by the heavens to restrain them? The third prince's face was also gloomy, and the murderous intent in his eyes was about to explode. In the end, he gritted his teeth and said, "Let's split up and search in different directions." He finally changed his strategy. Instead of searching in groups, he spread out in small groups. That way, they would have more places to search. As expected, they also found some treasures. However, the real treasures had been taken away by Lin Xian a long time ago. What they had now were things that Lin Xian didn't care about. Indeed, during this period of time, Lin Xian had obtained a lot of spiritual herbs, ores, and metals. The metals could be used to refine treasures, and the spiritual herbs could be used to refine pills. They could increase the cultivation levels of Lin Xian, the little white monkey, and the crimson dragon. Soon, they continued to go deeper, but there was no path ahead. It was blocked by a door. Seeing this, the third prince and the others became excited, because this meant that there was an entrance in front of them. Perhaps it was the entrance to the ancient ruins. Even Lin Xian and the other two's eyes were burning with passion. The elders of the Grand Imperial Hall cried out in surprise when they saw this scene. They were looking forward to it. After all, no one had ever entered the ruins. The two stone doors in front of them were abnormally simple, and there were mysterious runes engraved on them. Although the light was dim and would be extinguished at any time. However, the aura coming from them was abnormally heavy. It made them feel a sense of trepidation. This was the energy after countless years. It was hard to imagine how terrifying the person who set up this energy back then was. Attack together. The third prince took a deep breath and gave the order. Boom, boom, boom. The powerhouses on the third prince's side stood in a row and quickly attacked. The violent attacks blasted on the ancient stone doors, causing shocking collisions. However, the runes on the stone doors shone and formed a vortex that diluted the violent energy. Then, everything returned to normal. The stone doors did not change at all. What? How could this be? Seeing this, the third prince and the others were stunned. Their faces turned ugly. The elders in the Grand Imperial Hall frowned as they watched the scene through the light screen. As expected of the ruins of the dark canyon, it was indeed mysterious. That's right. I wonder if these people can open it. Chapter 21:31. As expected of the ruins of the dark canyon, it was incomparably mysterious. That's right. I wonder if these people can open it? The third prince's gaze was gloomy. He quickly looked at Lin Xian and the other two and said, "Let's attack together. Otherwise, you won't be able to enter." All right. Taoist Master Long nodded. Now was indeed the time to work together. Taoist Master Long and the other two also joined in. Then, those terrifying powerhouses attacked again. Violent energy violently blasted forward. Even the third prince did not remain idle and attacked as well. Boom, boom, boom. Shocking energy exploded, and the void was instantly torn apart. However, the stone door in front of them did not budge at all. It seemed to have withstood everyone's attacks. Damn it! Open! Everyone roared again and increased their strength. The runes on the stone door also began to tremble. It was obvious that it could not withstand the power anymore. The stone door also rumbled as if it was about to open at any moment. However, it did not open in the end. It seemed that they were still lacking a little. Damn it! No, they're still lacking a little. Everyone retracted their hands with ugly expressions. They had already used their terrifying power. They had not opened it yet. Could it be that they had to use their trump cards to open the stone door? However, if they used their trump cards now, wouldn't they be exposing themselves? Therefore, they were in a dilemma for a moment. However, at that moment, a sneer came from behind. So what if I join in? Who is it? Hearing that, their hairs stood on end, and their hearts turned cold. There's someone. Someone is indeed hiding nearby. Previously, they even suspected that it was Lin Xian and the others who had secretly stolen the treasure. However, it seemed that it was very likely not the case. It was very likely that the mysterious powerhouse was hiding in the dark. Now that the door could not be opened, the mysterious powerhouse could no longer hold back and was finally about to appear. The third prince was extremely shocked, while Lin Xian and Taoist Master Long were even more shocked. They did not expect that there would be a hidden powerhouse here. In the Grand Imperial Hall, the elders of the imperial family were also exclaiming, "What? There's someone else? Who is it? They're here too? Is it a powerhouse invited from the outside, or a creature from the dark canyon?" Thinking of the latter possibility, these people sucked in a breath of cold air, a trace of shock appearing in their eyes. But soon, they were stunned. That was because they saw a golden figure walk out of the light screen. While they were stunned, the third prince and Lin Xian were also stunned, because they realized that they actually knew this mysterious person. "Golden Lion King, it's actually you." The third prince cried out in surprise. Then, his eyes became extremely solemn. The Golden Lion King was a subordinate of the first prince. Now that it was here, did that mean that the first prince was here as well? The Almighties behind him also looked as if they were facing a great enemy. Even Lin Xian and the other two looked serious, because the Golden Lion King was indeed an incomparably terrifying opponent. Moreover, the other party's background was extremely mysterious. He was a war race genius. More importantly, they didn't know if this fellow had come alone or with the first prince's subordinates. However, after looking around, they heaved a sigh of relief. That was because they discovered that other than the Golden Lion King, no one else appeared. This meant that it wasn't the first prince who brought people to kill their way in. Instead, it was the Golden Lion King who came in by himself. But when they thought of this, their scalps still went numb. He actually dared to enter the dark canyon alone and even managed to come here. Wasn't this Golden Lion King a little too terrifying? Facing everyone's gazes, the Golden Lion King didn't care at all. His tall figure emitted a sun-like radiance, illuminating the surrounding darkness. He was like a war god, bringing with him a strong sense of oppression. "Let's work together to break open this stone door." The Golden Lion King spoke in a deep voice. It didn't seem like he was discussing with everyone, but rather, he was giving an order. Hearing this, everyone was unhappy. Which one of them here wasn't a peerless character? How could they be ordered by a young man? The Almighties under the third prince were also unhappy. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he stared at the Golden Lion King. He was a peerless genius, and the other party was also a peerless genius. Moreover, both of them had a perfect record in the first round. He felt a little regretful that they didn't fight in the first round. Seeing the other party, Lin Xian felt the blood in his body boiling. Naturally, the Golden Lion King also felt Lin Xian's gaze. He turned his head, and a golden radiance burst out from his eyes. It was like a golden sharp sword, slicing through the void. Buzz. Boom. 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 Their gazes clashed in the air, creating an intense explosion. Countless black cracks appeared in the void. Then, a black hole appeared between the two of them, showing signs of expanding. Seeing this scene, the Almighties gasped, and shock appeared in their eyes. These two youngsters, don't look at their young age. Their strength was really too powerful. At this moment, the energy emitted by the two of them made them feel a chill down their spines. In the Grand Imperial Hall, the elders were all excited when they saw this scene. These were two top young geniuses. If they were to fight, what kind of scene would it be? They were even looking forward to it. Overestimating themselves. On the other hand, the Empress snorted, and a trace of disdain appeared in her eyes. The Golden Lion King was personally invited by her. He was a genius of the war race, and it could be said that he was born for battle. He was extremely strong. No matter how strong Lin Xian was, how could he be compared to the Golden Lion King? Dark Canyon, in front of the stone door. The aura from the two of them was getting stronger and stronger, and it looked like an even more intense collision was about to happen. However, at this moment, the third prince stood out. He sighed, and then said in a deep voice, "The two of you, please stop. Now is not the time to fight. Let's work together and break the stone door first." To be honest, he also hoped that the two of them would fight now, because they were not his subordinates. It would be best if both of them were injured. But now, he should focus on the big picture. He was eager to know what kind of treasure was hidden behind the stone door. Therefore, after weighing the pros and cons, the third prince decided to work together to open the stone door first. The Golden Lion King snorted and retracted his gaze. On the other side, Lin Xian's aura also receded like the tide, and it returned to calmness. In the next moment, everyone made their move. Boom, boom. The stone door trembled. This time, it trembled even more violently. Then, a crack appeared on the stone door, and the two doors opened completely. It opened. It finally opened. The third prince, Lin Xian, and the surrounding Almighties were all excited. Chapter 2132. Even the elders in the Grand Imperial Hall were excited, let alone them. However, Lin Xian and the others were not in a hurry to enter. They had been to countless ruins and knew that it was extremely dangerous inside. Therefore, they first put on their armor and even surrounded themselves with their king's domain. After all the defenses were set up, they entered. This was the Dark Canyon, 100 times more dangerous than the outside world. They had to be careful, otherwise, they would not even know how they died. However, when they entered, they were a little stunned. Because along the way, they did not receive any attacks at all, nor did they encounter any formations. This left them in a daze. One had to know that in other ruins, there would be a terrifying formation or attack after taking 2 steps. However, it was calm and peaceful now. This silence made them feel even more uneasy. It had to be said that it was very magical inside because they realized that it was a world of its own. Indeed, as they walked, they felt that the scene under their feet had changed. It was no longer a cave, but an island floating in the sky. The surroundings were no longer dark, but white clouds and immortal fog. In front of them, the palaces and pavilions were emitting resplendent light. Those who did not know better would think that they had arrived at a paradise. The third prince and the others were dumbfounded. Lin Xian was also extremely surprised. The royal family elders stared with their eyes wide open in disbelief. They did not expect that there would be such a magical ruin in the Dark Canyon. Which peerless powerhouse had left it behind? We're rich. We're rich. Ha 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 ha. Those mighty figures cheered excitedly. From the looks of it, No one had been here before. Moreover, it was definitely the wealth left behind by a peerless powerhouse. There were definitely countless natural treasures inside. If they could get some, they would definitely be rich. Taoist Master Long and the Netherworld King also took a deep breath. Their eyes were filled with joy. At the side, the Golden Lion King revealed a smile. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he looked around. He had already summoned Little White. Once he found a treasure, he would immediately take action. As expected, the mighty figures under the third prince could not wait and quickly rushed forward. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, the surroundings changed. In the sky, the clouds rumbled and formed thunderclouds. Then, they came crashing down rapidly. The terrifying lightning was like a wild snake, instantly enveloping those mighty figures. Damn it, get lost. A powerful being roared towards the sky and spat out flames to resist the lightning above. Some mighty figures waved their mountain-like palms in front of them. The sound of an intense collision was heard. Then, the few powerful beings retreated with gloomy expressions, because the power of the lightning was truly too terrifying. In particular, the thunderclouds above continued to bombard the sky as if it was a heavenly tribulation. This made the third prince, Taoist Long, and the others gasp. What kind of energy was this? Could it really be a heavenly tribulation? It seemed that they still needed to work together. The third prince's expression was solemn. However, the Golden Lion King merely sneered. No need. Since we're already here, let's rely on our own abilities. As he spoke, he strode forward. Following his actions, a terrifying thundercloud also condensed above him and enveloped the Golden Lion King. Then, the sky full of thunder and lightning poured down. Wong. At this moment, the Golden Lion King also made its move. Golden light erupted from his body and swept out in all directions like the sun. Boom. With a punch, the golden fist tore through the world and landed on the thunderbolts in the sky. Suddenly, a huge black hole appeared. What? So terrifying. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a mouthful of cold air. This Golden Lion King was too frightening. It actually shattered such a frightening lightning with a single punch. One must know that even elite powerful beings would find it hard to resist this thunderbolt. Yet, the Golden Lion King shattered it with a raise of his hand. Didn't this mean that his strength had already surpassed that of an elite powerful being? Oh heavens, just what level had he reached? Was this the strength of the war tribe? This was too terrifying. Not to mention the third prince and the others, even the elders in the Grand Imperial Hall were extremely shocked. The war tribe was extremely mysterious. They had already gone into seclusion 10,000 years ago. Who would have thought that they would come out again? However, the Golden Lion King's strength had left them extremely shocked. The sky full of thunder and lightning poured down and enveloped the Golden Lion King. However, the Golden Lion King's body emitted a golden radiance. The image of a lion circled around him, resisting the terrifying thunderbolts. Then, he took a step forward and walked forward. Damn it, let's do it too. When the third prince saw this scene, he also roared in anger. The powerful beings around him quickly gathered together and worked together to resist the thunderbolts in the sky. Lin Xian also made his move. On Lin Xian's body, the dragon sword domain appeared and enveloped him. On the other side, Taoist Long and the Netherworld King also used their king domains and walked forward. In the sky, the violent thunderbolts descended and directly pierced through the void. Those terrifying thunderbolts caused the scalps of these powerful beings to go numb. They even suspected that if they couldn't hold on and were struck by the thunderbolts, would they be directly pierced through? But fortunately, they didn't encounter any danger along the way. They finally managed to avoid the terrifying heavenly tribulation by a hair's breadth. Everyone's face was pale. When they turned around, they realized that they had only walked about 100 meters. On the ground of that 100 meters, there were blue lines that looked like thunderbolts. Could it be that it was because of these paths that those heavenly tribulations were formed? These people were extremely shocked. As expected of the ancient ruins, it was indeed incomparably mysterious. This made them even more careful. But fortunately, after walking for more than 100 meters, there was a palace in front of them. It was a 6-story pavilion. It was very simple and unadorned, but there was no dust on it. Instead, it was overflowing with light. Boom! The Golden Lion King took the lead. He opened the door and walked in. The people behind also saw the situation inside and exclaimed in surprise. Supreme-grade spirit medicine? A peerless treasure saber. The cauldron was still emitting smoke. Could there be immortal pills in there? Everyone was extremely shocked because they realized that in the center of the hall on the first floor was a huge cauldron. It was more than 3 meters tall, and there were exquisite patterns carved on it that were vivid and lifelike. What shocked them even more was that there were wisps of white smoke coming out of the hole. Although they weren't alchemists, they had all seen alchemy before. It was exactly the same as the scene in front of them. Could it be that someone was still refining pills in there? Thinking of this, they were extremely vigilant. They looked around cautiously. However, they didn't find anyone. But what was going on with the white smoke? Could it be that the owner of this ruin refined pills? Thinking of this, they were even more stunned. No matter what, this ruin had to have existed for thousands of years, or even tens of thousands of years. But the pills were still being refined. Heavens, they didn't dare to imagine. Chapter 21:33. In the Grand Imperial Hall, the royal elders were all shocked when they saw this scene. Even the emperor and the empress were shocked. To be honest, they were also very confused. What kind of existence was this? Humph. However, at this moment, the Golden Lion King snorted coldly. Then, he stretched out a huge golden hand and grabbed in front of him. The void trembled, and spiritual energy gathered in the sky. A huge golden palm covered the sky and covered the alchemy furnace. Seeing this scene, the third prince and the others exclaimed, "Damn it! Put down the alchemy furnace." They were too shocked. This alchemy furnace was a supreme treasure. It was very likely that there were top-grade pills inside. Who knew what magical effects it would have? However, it was definitely not simple. Therefore, how could they allow the Golden Lion King to succeed? Although the Golden Lion King was powerful, he was only one person. Therefore, the third prince gave the order to attack. Immediately, the 3 almighties attacked together to snatch the fiery red alchemy furnace. You dare to attack me? You are courting death. The Golden Lion King was also furious. He snorted coldly, and a sharp light shone in his eyes. Then, a powerful and terrifying aura surged from his body. The power in the sky collided in the air, forming a terrifying energy fluctuation. On the other side, Taoist Long and the Lord of the Underworld also looked serious. They were also very interested in the fiery red alchemy furnace. Then, the Lord of the Underworld asked, "Kid, why don't we attack together?" Lin Xian's eyes also flickered. He did not answer immediately. Instead, he frowned. Actually, he did not need the Lord of the Underworld to tell him. When he first came in, he already noticed the alchemy furnace in front of him. When he saw the white smoke coming out of the alchemy furnace, he was even more shocked. He was different from these people. Not only was he powerful, but he was also an alchemist. Naturally, he knew what it meant to have white smoke coming out of the alchemy furnace. Therefore, he quickly sent a voice transmission to the little white monkey to attack. The little white monkey used Treasure Bowl to try to snatch the pills inside the alchemy furnace. However, it failed. This result surprised Lin Xian. How could it fail? Could it be that there was a powerful array around the alchemy furnace? But that should not be. If there was really a restriction array, he should be able to sense it. However, he did not sense any dangerous aura. The little white monkey also tried again, but it still could not take out anything. Not sure what to do, the Snow White monkey began to transmit its voice to Lin Xian, as if it wanted to express something. When Lin Xian heard this, he frowned. "Are you saying that this is fake?" Woo-woo. Hearing that Lin Xian understood, the little white monkey nodded in the black earth. Fake? This made Lin Xian even more confused. In the next moment, a trace of golden light appeared in his eyes. Everyone's eyes were on the cauldron, so he secretly activated his heavenly secret god eyes. Soon, he was stunned. This was because he discovered that under the gaze of his heavenly secret divine eyes, there was nothing in front of him. It didn't exist. It didn't exist at all. There was no pill furnace in front of him, only an empty space. This greatly shocked Lin Xian. Illusion. This was the first thing that came to his mind. But soon after, he was puzzled. This illusion was too realistic. Even these elite powerhouses, including the Golden Lion King, were all fooled. In fact, even he had been deceived by it. One had to know that his soul was very powerful, and he was also very proficient in illusion. But he did not expect to be deceived. If not for his heavenly secret god eyes, he would not have been able to detect it. Now, the third prince, the Golden Lion King, and the others did not notice anything strange. This was enough to show how terrifying this illusion was. After knowing that it was an illusion, Lin Xian quickly withdrew his heavenly secret god eyes. At this moment, he heard the Lord of the Underworld's question. Then, Lin Xian shook his head, showing a look of disinterest. Then, he started to look in other directions. This was because there were not only cauldrons, but also other things in the surroundings. Seeing that Lin Xian had given up, the Lord of the Underworld was stunned. But then, he sighed. He and Daoist Long did not make a move because they were not confident. Moreover, the Golden Lion King had already started fighting with the third prince. They could watch the battle. Who knew, they might even be able to benefit from it. So, the two of them waited at the side. In front of them, a great battle had erupted. The Golden Lion King stood there like a god of war. He waved his huge golden palm and slapped it in all directions. That palm was like the hand of a demon god, emitting thousands of rays of light. When he waved it gently, the entire space shook. As for the other three elite almighties, they were extremely shocked. They were all powerhouses. But now, the three of them were unable to do anything to the Golden Lion King. It was really unbelievable. The third prince's expression was also serious. He realized that the Golden Lion King was too terrifying. Could it be that the people of the war tribe were also terrifying? They could fight against three elite powerhouses alone? Scram! At this moment, the Golden Lion King shouted. His voice was like thunder, shaking the void. Then, he clenched his fist and punched out. The space trembled. The golden fist rushed out like a god, letting out a terrifying howl. The light illuminated the heaven and earth. The terrifying energy instantly pushed the three elite powerhouses back. What? Too terrifying. At this moment, the royal family elders who were watching the battle exclaimed. Because the Golden Lion King was too terrifying. After the three almighty experts were forced back, the Golden Lion King extended its palm and enveloped the red pill furnace in front of it. This is mine. A smug smile appeared on the Golden Lion King's face. Seeing this scene, the third prince and the others' expressions changed. On the other side, Daoist Long and the Netherworld King also frowned. Their plan of reaping the benefits of the battle had failed, because they also did not expect the Golden Lion King to be so powerful. But in the next moment, everyone was stunned. On the third prince's side, Daoist Long and the royal family elders were all stunned. It was as if they had seen a ghost. Their minds were blank. Even the Golden Lion King was stunned. The smile on his face disappeared. It was replaced by a gloomy expression and a thick, killing intent in his eyes. This was because the red pill furnace that he had grabbed had actually disappeared in an instant. That incomparably exquisite, red and translucent stone furnace turned into a wisp of white smoke and dissipated with the wind. It disappeared? What happened? Everyone was stunned. The Golden Lion King's gaze was like a sharp sword, piercing through the void. With a roar, the surrounding sky collapsed. Who is it? Void God Realm Ghost, get out here. There was a terrifying killing intent in his voice. However, no one answered him. The entire pill furnace had disappeared completely. It was as if it had never appeared. How could this be? Everyone was dumbfounded. A few grand cultivators even roared crazily. Chapter 2134. Damn it! Immortal pill. My immortal pill. Who took my immortal pill? They were indeed furious. After all, it was an immortal pill that had existed for tens of thousands of years. If they ate one, they might be able to break through and become a supreme expert. They might even have the chance to become an invincible king. This was a huge opportunity. Whoever obtained it would be able to defy the heavens and change their fate. However, such a great opportunity had actually disappeared right in front of their eyes. How could they accept this? Not to mention them, even the elders of the royal family were stunned. They exclaimed, "What was going on? Who got it? It just disappeared?" This was too strange. What exactly was going on? Do you know? Everyone was discussing. However, in the end, they did not understand either. Therefore, for a moment, many of the elders of the royal family looked forward. The ones sitting above were naturally the emperor and the empress. They did not understand, but the emperor should be able to understand. Could it be an illusion? An elder asked. The others also nodded. It was very possible. Yes, it was definitely an illusion. However, this illusion was too brilliant. It even deceived all of them. That golden lion king, as a genius of the war race, was also deceived? What kind of illusion was this? However, at this moment, the emperor's eyes flickered. He said in a deep voice, "It was not an illusion, but a remnant image." What? A remnant image? Hearing this, the elders were all stunned. This was completely different from an illusion. Illusion was a kind of mental attack. It was used to deceive the soul of a person and make them think that it was real. However, the remaining images were different. It was not an illusion. It was real. It was just that it had been preserved in some way. It was equivalent to recording something that had happened before. Could it be that the pill furnace from before was real? A supreme expert was refining pills. However, it was not now. It was the scene of refining pills thousands, or even tens of thousands of years ago. It was left in the void. What kind of heaven-defying method was this to be able to do this? Although these people were also very powerful, and some of them were even peerless almighties, they still couldn't do this. They could split mountains and seas. However, to preserve the scene of their previous life for thousands or even tens of thousands of years, they could not do it even if they were beaten to death. Perhaps even an invincible king might not be able to do it. Could it be that this was left behind by a saint? Thinking of this possibility, they became even more excited. The things left behind by the saints were sacred relics. It was not common in the central continent. Who would have thought that the dark canyon would actually contain the remains of a saint? These elders were all incomparably excited, as if they had been injected with chicken blood. They couldn't wait to charge into the dark canyon and see the saints' ruins for themselves. Although the Golden Lion King and the others did not know what was in the ancient remnant, it was left behind by a sage. However, they guessed that it should be an illusion, so their faces were gloomy. Originally, they were here to hunt for treasures, but they didn't expect to be tricked the moment they entered. This made them very unhappy. Therefore, in the next moment, they angrily searched everywhere. Since the pill furnace list wasn't real, then the other items should be real. Wong. At this moment, they were shocked. That was because there was an extremely powerful ripple in front of them. Then, they all looked over. Lin Xian was standing in front of a shelf. With a wave of his hand, he pulled out a long blue saber. Wong. The blade light was like a star, emitting blue light. Then, it swayed gently and tore through the void. An Earth-rank supreme-grade treasure. Seeing this scene, everyone widened their eyes and stared at the long blue saber with bloodshot eyes. They did not expect that there would be a treasure here. Taoist Master Long and the Lord of the Underworld were also stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to leave so quickly and look for other things. Could it be that he already knew that the immortal pills in front of him were fake? Thinking of this, they were extremely shocked. Now that they saw Lin Xian pull out a supreme-grade Earth-rank treasure, they were even more shocked. At this moment, on the third prince's side, an old man in blue roared angrily, "Kid, hand over the treasure saber." This old man was an elite mighty figure and a swordsman. Now that he saw a supreme-grade treasure saber, how could he not be tempted? Therefore, in the next moment, he quickly waved his arm, and a saber light slashed forward like lightning. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly and suddenly turned around. He waved the supreme-grade treasure saber in his hand, and shot out an even more terrifying saber light that tore through the void. It shattered the opponent's attack. Otherwise, the saber light turned into a shocking dragon and slashed out fiercely. Boom, boom. The old man screamed and was sent flying. A terrifying saber mark appeared on his body. Blood splattered and dyed the sky red. Seeing this scene, everyone's scalps went numb and they were extremely shocked. They looked at Lin Xian with fear in their eyes. Although they were greedy and wanted to snatch the supreme-grade treasure saber, this scene really shocked them. Being able to send an elite mighty figure flying with a single saber strike was absolutely terrifying. Damn it, this kid is already very powerful. Now that he has a supreme-grade treasure saber, his combat strength will increase by a level. The third prince's face was also gloomy. In the next moment, he said, "Ignore him and quickly look for other places. There is definitely more than one treasure here." Hearing that, the other mighty figures moved one after another. They no longer dared to have any ideas about Lin Xian's treasure saber. For a time, the other mighty figures moved in all directions and searched thoroughly. Another supreme-grade treasure. Heavens! That's a top-tier cultivation technique. Everyone looked around and cried out in surprise. They began to tremble with excitement. "We're rich. We're definitely rich this time. I didn't expect to see such supreme-grade items everywhere." Lin Xian ignored the others. His gaze was like lightning as he walked forward again. There, he found a few red pill bottles and a few scrolls. They should be pills and pill formulas? Those are ancient pills. Everyone was excited again. After searching for so long, other than weapons and cultivation techniques, this was the first time they had found pills. Therefore, for a moment, everyone's gaze gathered on Lin Xian again. One of the old men also obtained an earth-grade treasure saber. Then, he sneered and quickly charged over. Although Lin Xian had displayed powerful combat strength previously, he was confident that he would not lose to his opponent now that he had a supreme-grade treasure saber. Therefore, in the next moment, he quickly attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. With a wave of his hand, he stored all the pills and pill formulas into the black earth. Buzz! The old man had already charged over. The red saber in his hand rushed over like a bolt of red lightning, emitting a terrifying light. In an instant, it enveloped Lin Xian. "Go to hell, kid." A sinister look appeared on the old man's face. Chapter 21:35. Lin Xian suddenly turned around, and a sharp aura erupted from his eyes. He would attack the blue saber in his hand. Buzz! Crack! The saber light cracked like lightning. The two top-notch sabers collided with each other, producing a shocking explosion. The void split open, and a crack appeared and spread in all directions. Meanwhile, the old man who attacked was sent flying and crashed into a stone pillar. The stone pillar shattered, and the void collapsed. The old man vomited blood and fell to the ground with a terrified expression. "How could this be? That's impossible." The old man roared crazily. He also had a supreme-grade saber in his hand, and his weapon was not inferior to his opponent's. However, how could he be sent flying by his opponent? Could it be that his opponent was stronger than him? He could not accept that fact. He struggled to get up and held the red supreme-grade saber, wanting to attack again. However, at that moment, the entire pavilion began to shake as if there was an earthquake. What happened? Is this place going to collapse? Damn it! What happened? The others were also extremely shocked. It was not easy for them to find the location of the treasure, but now it was going to be destroyed. I can't accept this. However, there were still huge rocks rolling down around them. There were even terrifying rays of light that tore through the void. It seemed that if they did not leave, they would be killed. Therefore, those people did not dare to delay and flew into the sky. Lin Xian was also puzzled. He tore through the void and went outside. In the next moment, Taoist Master Long and the Lord of the Underworld appeared beside him. The two of them looked happy. Clearly, they had also obtained some treasures earlier. However, when they came out, they were stunned. They found that the entire island was shaking violently. In the depths of the island, A ray of light shot into the sky like a heavenly pillar and tore through the void. It created a huge void, and a black hole quickly churned. That light is so terrifying. Everyone looked into the distance in shock. Is the apocalyptic divine light about to appear? Their hearts trembled. That aura was too powerful. Even the supreme-grade saber that Lin Xian had just obtained began to tremble. It was not only the saber in his hand. The supreme-grade weapons that the others obtained were also trembling rapidly. What's going on? For a moment, everyone was stunned. In the Grand Imperial Hall, when the elders of the royal family saw that scene through the light screen, they were extremely shocked. Then, they all exclaimed, "That light? That's a phenomenon. Could it be that a shocking treasure has appeared? That's right, that must be it. Heavens! The luck of the third prince and the others was way too good to be able to find such a shocking treasure on their first visit." Everyone was shocked, and the eyes of a few elders flickered. Even the best quality treasured saber was trembling. Could it be that a heaven-grade weapon was about to appear? The power of this pillar of light still exceeded Lin Xian and the others' imaginations. It pierced through the sky and directly struck the void. Soon, a sharp beam of light streaked across the dark canyon. It was the beam of light that reached the heavens. Boom! Hey! Around the pillar of light, multicolored lights swirled and rainbows danced. It was a very strange sight. What's that? Outside the dark canyon, the eighth prince and the others who were sitting cross-legged suddenly opened their eyes. They looked at the huge light pillar in front of them in shock. What a terrifying phenomenon! A peerless treasure is about to appear this time. Some mighty figures exclaimed. However, it was in the dark canyon. It was really surprising. Only one group of people had entered the dark canyon. They never knew what was inside. They did not expect such a phenomenon to appear now. Could it be related to Lin Xian and the others? After all, they might have entered some ancient ruins. That's possible. The mighty figures around the eighth prince discussed animatedly. In the end, they guessed that the phenomenon might be related to Lin Xian and the others. But then, they all turned their heads to look at the eighth prince. They all looked expectant. Among them, an elder said quickly, "Eighth prince, should we go in and take a look?" "Yes, that light is definitely the birth of a heaven-defying treasure. This is definitely a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity." The eighth prince's eyes also flickered. To be honest, he also knew that he had never seen such a phenomenon before. He thought that something shocking must have appeared. However, he was struggling in his heart. Because the dark canyon was very dangerous, he did not have the confidence to win. If he suffered any losses, he would be teleported out and have no chance to compete for the crown prince position. Therefore, after pondering for a moment, the eighth prince gritted his teeth and said, "We won't go in." "What?" Hearing this, the surrounding mighty figures were stunned. Some of them even became anxious. "Eight Huanzi, this is a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity. If we get it, our strength will undergo a heaven-defying change. Even the first prince won't be able to stop us." The group of people persuaded him. However, the eighth prince's eyes became more and more determined. He said in a deep voice, "There is indeed a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity inside. However, the dark canyon is a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity. After entering, there is an 80% chance of dying. This is definitely not beneficial for the crown prince position. Therefore, I have decided not to go in." At this moment, the eighth prince was very calm. He was not affected by the phenomenon. Instead, he took the safest and most reliable method. When the surrounding mighty figures heard this, they fell silent. Indeed, although the treasure was good, the dark canyon was even more dangerous. They were not confident that they could enter unscathed. "All right then, I can only hope that Lin Xian and the other two will be able to obtain this heaven-defying treasure." Then, the mighty figures sat down cross-legged again and waited quietly. However, it was not only the eighth prince who saw it. This pillar of light was so dazzling that even the princes who were tens of thousands of miles away saw it. Heavens! What is that? A heaven-defying phenomenon. It actually triggered a heaven-defying phenomenon. This is the sign of a peerless treasure appearing. Let's go and take a look. When the princes saw this scene, they were all excited. Then, They led the surrounding elite mighty figures and rushed in that direction. When the first prince saw this scene, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. Haha, this prince is really lucky. To think that I would encounter such a rare phenomenon that is hard to come by in 1,000 years. Since that's the case, how could I miss it? Men, let's go. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Then, these people turned into long streaks of light and streaked across the sky, flying rapidly in the direction of that place. Of course, not every prince showed great interest in the heaven-defying phenomenon. Among them, the fourth prince looked into the distance and frowned. As for the mighty figures around him, they were all extremely excited. I recommend a book, Super Soldier King Returns to the Invincible Style. Those who like the city should read it. Chapter 2136. Fourth Prince, let's go too. However, the fourth prince snorted coldly. No, that direction is the Dark Canyon. I'm guessing that it's something inside the Dark Canyon. It's a dangerous place. Going in is suicide. Let them fight for it. We'll take this opportunity to explore the other ruins. After saying that, he turned around and left in the opposite direction with his people. The people outside were getting restless. Inside the Dark Canyon, there was a strange scene, especially the ancient ruins where Lin Xian and the others were. Ever since the light pillar appeared, it did not disappear. Instead, it spread rapidly. The floating island was completely shrouded in multicolored light. Thousands of multicolored lights hung down like divine rainbows. It was shocking. The most excited people were the third prince and the others. That was because they were the closest. Therefore, in the next moment, the third prince led these powerhouses and quickly ran forward. On the other side, the Golden Lion King snorted coldly and took a step forward. Like a stream of light, it tore through the void. Let's go too. Taoist Master Long's eyes flickered. He took a deep breath and moved. Lin Xian followed behind, but the light in his eyes became sharper and sharper. Ka ka ka. Boom boom boom. However, this path was not easy to walk. Not long after they ran, lightning appeared in the sky again and crashed down. Obviously, it wanted to stop them from going forward. However, it could not stop them from going forward. After all, the phenomenon in front of them was too dazzling. Therefore, in the next moment, these people roared and fought against the heavenly tribulation in the sky. Purple Demon Saber. An old man roared and waved the supreme-grade saber in his hand. Suddenly, an incomparably terrifying purple saber light surged out quickly. Then, it tore through the sky and slashed forward. Boom! As the saber slashed down, a huge crack appeared in the lightning that filled the sky. Humph! On the other side, the Golden Lion King snorted coldly and clapped his hands. A huge golden palm soared into the sky. Wherever it passed, the lightning was completely shattered. Lin Xian also attacked with all his might. Lin Xian held a supreme-grade saber in his hand and slashed out beams of light. The power of this saber was extremely terrifying. It directly caused the entire void to collapse. Taoist Long and the Underworld King also made their moves. On the other side, the third prince and the others were also roaring furiously as they attacked the thunderbolts in the sky with all their might. Finally, they slowly advanced through the countless bolts of lightning. After an intense battle, they avoided the terrifying heavenly tribulation and arrived at the depths of the floating island. There was a bluestone path that led straight inside. From the looks of it, this should be the passage. However, the few of them frowned. The reason for that was because they discovered that the aura of lightning contained within the bluestone path had become even more frightening. In fact, it was even more terrifying than the previous heavenly tribulations. Damn it, what kind of place is this? How can there be such terrifying lightning energy? A higher being's expression was quite grim because he felt his hairs stand on end. It was as if the lightning ahead could threaten his life. Humph. If you're afraid of death, then scram. There was no need for trash here. At this moment, the Golden Lion King coldly snorted. What did you say? He was actually reprimanded by a young man. That powerful being was immediately enraged. However, the Golden Lion King only sneered. What? Am I wrong? You can't even withstand this little bit of lightning, and you still want to snatch the treasure? I really don't know if water entered your brain. Also, have your 1,000 years of cultivation been wasted on a pig's body? After saying that, he snorted coldly and ignored that powerful being. Instead, he directly walked forward. Boom! As he took a step forward, the blue stone path in front of him flickered with incomparable radiance. Countless runes quickly lit up. After that, blue stone lightning intertwined in the sky and formed a human figure made of lightning. That human figure made of lightning was extremely frightening. It had completely surpassed the heavenly tribulation from before. The moment it appeared, it let out a ferocious roar and quickly charged toward the Golden Lion King. What was that? A human-shaped lightning. At the back, the adults exclaimed in surprise. Even Lin Xian frowned. The third prince, Daoist Long, and the others looked even more solemn. The Golden Lion King sneered. A trace of coldness appeared on his handsome face. Then, he clenched his fist and punched out. A mere lightning spirit dares to be arrogant in front of me? The Golden Lion King sneered in disdain. Light bloomed in his eyes. He clenched his right hand into a fist and punched out like a lion. Boom! This punch caused the entire space to distort. All the lightning in the sky was blown away. The frightening power surged forward like an avalanche. Boom! That humanoid lightning roared furiously and quickly struck out with his palm. Suddenly, 10,000 lightning bolts appeared. An incomparably frightening palm violently punched out. Boom! Crack! However, in the next moment, it suddenly shattered. Because the Golden Lion King's fist was indomitable, nothing could stop it. In an instant, it pierced through the lightning palm. Die for me! Speaking until here, the golden light in the Golden Lion King's eyes shone even brighter. He punched out a golden palm that covered the sky. It was like a golden divine mountain descending from the sky. Boom! That human-shaped lightning was smashed into pieces. Once again, it turned into countless blue stone lightning bolts and scattered in all directions. Humph! Seeing this scene, the Golden Lion King sneered. Then, he took a step forward and walked forward. Lightning bolts flew towards him. However, the golden light on his body turned into a peerless, ferocious beast to resist the lightning bolts. What frightening combat power! Behind him, the third prince and the others gasped when they saw this scene. This Golden Lion King was simply too powerful. It seemed that he had definitely surpassed the elite powerhouses. This kind of combat power was definitely at the peak. Inside the Grand Imperial Hall, those elders also saw this scene through the screen. They all exclaimed in surprise. As expected of a member of the battle group, his combat power was simply too heaven-defying. That's right. He definitely had the combat power of a peak powerhouse. I'm afraid that elite powerhouses are nothing in his hands. Such an existence was simply invincible among the younger generation. I'm afraid that no one in the younger generation is his match. Why do I feel that even those older powerhouses aren't his match? The war race was indeed too frightening. Exclamations could be heard. Clearly, the power displayed by the Golden Lion King had truly shocked these royal elders. On the other side, the third prince and Daoist Long also became anxious when they saw the Golden Lion King walking further and further away. They roared furiously and prepared to attack. However, at this moment, a figure was faster than them and walked ahead of them. What? It's that brat. The powerhouses on the third prince's side were extremely shocked. This was because they saw Lin Xian holding a supreme-grade treasured saber and walking forward in large strides. This brat wanted to enter the front alone? Fight against the lightning bolts? A few elite powerhouses frowned. The corners of their mouths curled up into a cold smile. Truly reckless. Humph. Who does he think he is? Can he be compared with the Golden Lion King? Chapter 2137. The third prince sneered. Even the elders of the royal family were discussing. But soon, they were stunned. Everyone opened their eyes wide as if they had seen a ghost. Especially those powerful figures around the third prince. Their faces were all red as if they had been slapped in the face in public. Lin Xian walked forward. Then, The lightning in front of him intertwined and formed a humanoid lightning. That humanoid lightning charged towards Lin Xian with lightning speed. Its body emitted powerful electricity that pierced through all directions. This aura once again made the hearts of these powerful figures tremble. However, Lin Xian sneered. He held the supreme-grade saber with both hands and slashed down. The terrifying saber light tore through the void and split the humanoid lightning in half. What? He split it in half. Everyone's eyes almost popped out. This kid is too terrifying. He split a humanoid lightning in half with a saber. Heavens, could it be that his combat strength has reached the level of a top-notch powerful figure? These people were all stunned. In the Grand Imperial Hall, the elders of the royal family twitched their mouths and their scalps went numb. This kid can definitely compete with the Golden Lion King. No, not necessarily. One of the elders opened his eyes wide and pointed at the screen. Come and see. The Golden Lion King is actually challenging 2 humanoid lightning by himself. Damn, this is heaven-defying. These people were about to go crazy because the Golden Lion King was currently contending against 2 humanoid lightning. His entire body emitted a powerful golden light. He was like a god of war as he fought against the 2 humanoid lightning. In the end, he struck out 2 golden lions and swallowed the humanoid lightning. Powerful. Incomparably powerful. Especially the third prince and Daoist Long. They looked at the Golden Lion King with heavy hearts. This kind of combat strength was rarely seen in their lives. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When Lin Xian saw this scene, the corners of his mouth curled up. The supreme-grade saber in his hand drew a strange arc. The terrifying saber light swept across the heaven and earth. In an instant, it enveloped the 2 humanoid lightning in front. What? He also wants to challenge 2 humanoid lightning? Heavens, am I dreaming? Damn, this kid is too crazy. Could it be that he can also fight against them? Pretentious. He must be pretentious. I don't believe that he can contend against 2 humanoid lightnings. On the third prince's side, a group of mighty figures roared madly. They were truly agitated. How could he be so strong? However, they did not believe that Lin Xian would be able to contend against the 2 human-shaped lightning bolts. Even the Golden Lion King stopped and turned around. Soon after, the Golden Lion King revealed a disdainful smile. Lin Xian did not pay attention to these people. His gaze was fixed on the 2 human-shaped lightning bolts in front of him. The 2 human-shaped lightning bolts also flew over quickly and stood side by side, emitting a terrifying aura. Violent lightning filled the surroundings, forming a lightning domain. It turned into a sea of lightning that swallowed Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body formed the image of an ice goddess. The terrifying ice resisted the lightning that filled the sky. Heaven-extinguishing chaos sword. The supreme-grade treasured saber in his hand was now used as a long sword, and he quickly slashed out. Suddenly, a few sharp sword auras appeared in the sky. This was the primal chaos sword aura. It was as heavy as 10,000 pounds and crushed the void. It slashed out like a giant dragon. Boom! The sea of lightning was instantly pierced through, and the terrifying primal chaos chi covered the surroundings. Then, the 2 humanoid lightning bolts were split apart. What? He also killed 2 humanoid lightning bolts. These people were really crazy. They looked at Lin Xian in horror. Their bodies were trembling. Powerful. He was too powerful. They could not do such a thing. In other words, the young man in front of them had completely surpassed them in terms of combat strength. They could not believe it. A young man in his 20s had actually surpassed them, the seniors who had lived for thousands of years. For a moment, these people were stunned on the spot. The imperial family elders were also dumbstruck. The Golden Lion King frowned. He did not expect that the other party could contend against 2 humanoid lightning bolts. This was beyond his expectations. Could it be that the other party could really compete with him? Thinking of this, he snorted coldly and his face sank. As a genius of the war tribe, he thought that he was unparalleled in the world and that no one could be compared to him. But now, there was someone who could stand shoulder to shoulder with him? How could he tolerate this? Therefore, in the next moment, he turned his head and roared. He stretched out his palm and covered the 3 humanoid lightning bolts in front of him. He wanted to use his heaven-defying and incomparably violent strength to prove to the world that he was unique and undefeatable. In fact, he could not be looked up to. Behind him, Lin Xian let out a long roar. The aura on his body suddenly changed, turning into streaks of lightning that swept across the surroundings. This brat also had the power of lightning? Could it be that he was also a lightning-type martial artist? Everyone exclaimed again. The power of lightning on Lin Xian's body became more and more violent. Then, it formed the shadow of a three-headed hellhound that roared at the sky. The terrifying power of lightning struck in all directions. Two completely different types of lightning power collided and caused a great destruction. Then, three humanoid figures also quickly charged toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian was also going to fight against three humanoid lightning bolts? Heavens, was he going to fight against the Golden Lion King? Everyone was extremely shocked. As for the elders of the royal family, they were all excited. Previously, they were still guessing who was stronger and who was weaker between the two. Now that they thought about it, they could see clearly, because both of them were fighting against three humanoid lightning bolts by themselves. And these humanoid lightning bolts were incomparably terrifying. They were not weaker than powerful experts. Could the two of them fight against each other? They did not know, but they could feel the blood in their body boiling. They were extremely excited. 1 against 3. Lin Xian indeed felt a great pressure. However, he became more and more courageous as the battle went on. The supreme-grade battle saber in his hand turned into a terrifying chaotic aura and slashed in all directions. The three humanoid lightning bolts in front of him were also crazily attacking. The terrifying power of lightning made people tremble. The people behind were all stunned. They looked at the two huge whirlpools in front of them and were speechless for a long time. Because no matter if it was Lin Xian or the Golden Lion King, their combat strength was too heaven-defying. It was not something they could imagine. Boom. Seal of the fearless lion. At the front, the Golden Lion King roared. His golden hair fluttered, and his entire body emitted a terrifying aura. Along with his palm, the three-headed golden lion suddenly spat out and tore the three humanoid lightning bolts apart. And the aura on his body had also reached a peak. Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer Sword. At the same time, Lin Xian used a terrifying heaven-tier cultivation technique. He also used an extremely powerful sword chi to kill the three humanoid lightning bolts. What? The two of them actually succeeded? Everyone looked at the scene in front of them and was stunned. They did not expect that Lin Xian and the Golden Lion King could kill the three humanoid lightning bolts. It was really out of their expectations. The Golden Lion King also frowned. He suddenly turned his head and stared at Lin Xian with a gaze as sharp as a knife. Chapter 21:38. The Golden Lion King also frowned. It abruptly turned its head and stared at Lin Xian with a gaze as sharp as a knife. To be honest, he was extremely surprised, because he didn't expect that the young man behind him could be compared to him. What a joke. He couldn't accept it. Therefore, at the next moment, he coldly snorted. Kid, you want to challenge me? You're overestimating yourself. Lin Xian also snorted. My goal is to become a great emperor. Who do you think you are to be my opponent? Hearing this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Their scalps went numb as they couldn't believe it. What did he say? He actually dared to look down on the Golden Lion King? Heavens, isn't this kid too arrogant? That's the genius of the war race. The legendary race that was born for battle. That's right. This kid must be crazy. Even if he could resist 3 streaks of lightning, it didn't mean that he could resist the Golden Lion King. Perhaps, the Golden Lion King didn't use his full strength earlier. Sounds of discussion could be heard. Everyone thought that Lin Xian had really gone mad. Too arrogant. The Golden Lion King's face also sank. A terrifying killing intent burst out from his eyes. Kid, what did you say? Say it again? His voice was cold. The aura on his body quickly condensed and a golden phantom appeared on his body. I'm not afraid of you. Lin Xian took a step forward. His body erupted with a cold, chaotic sword light. Sword chi surrounded him and tore the sky apart. Then, the sword chi spiraled and turned into a real dragon, coiling above Lin Xian. Boom, boom, boom. The two of them faced each other. They both summoned huge phantoms and suppressed the surroundings. The surrounding aura also became more and more condensed. Just the aura emitted from them caused the surrounding space to collapse. At the back, the third prince, Daoist Long, and the others sucked in a breath of cold air. They knew that they couldn't wait any longer. They had to act quickly. Otherwise, if they were left behind, they wouldn't have the chance to obtain the peerless treasure. Therefore, they also displayed their powerful strength and began to enter the green path. Then, thunderous attacks appeared one after another. They resisted crazily. In front of them, Lin Xian and the Golden Lion King were facing each other. The aura on their bodies was becoming more and more condensed. The Golden Lion King coldly said, "Brat, you don't have the qualifications to obtain the treasures ahead. Those treasures belong to me. Whether or not I'm qualified, it's not up to you to decide." Treasures were innate, and only those with the ability could obtain them. Whoever was stronger would get the treasure. If you want to stop me, you'll have to be prepared to be killed. You want to kill me with just you alone? He really overestimated himself. After the Golden Lion King heard this, it sneered in disdain. Is that so? It just so happens that I want to experience whether or not the war race is as powerful as the legends say. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. The Golden Lion King was finally enraged. It coldly snorted, and the golden aura on its body suddenly erupted. As if it was going to destroy the world, it illuminated the entire sky. Then, he stretched out his palm. The giant golden palm crushed the void. It was incomparably terrifying, destroying everything in its path. Chop! Lin Xian swung the saber in his hand and slashed out a huge light blade. The terrifying light blade descended like a river of stars, boundless and boundless. In the next moment, the two collided and a huge explosion occurred. The aftermath of that energy directly tore apart all the lightning in the surroundings. This scene was like the end of the world, causing people to be shocked. The expressions of the third prince, Daoist Long, and the others also changed. They all retreated to avoid the aftermath. In the Grand Imperial Hall, the royal family elders cried out in alarm when they saw this scene, because the two peerless geniuses had finally fought. Boom, boom, boom. A huge explosion occurred in front of them, and the surrounding sea of lightning was instantly pierced through. That giant golden palm blocked the sharp sword light, and then the light dimmed. Crack. In the end, it was cut in half. However, that terrifying sword energy was also torn apart under the power of the giant golden palm. The two attacks dissipated in the sky at the same time, vanishing into thin air. When everything disappeared, the third prince, Daoist Long, and the other almighties behind were all shocked. They were evenly matched. These two were actually evenly matched. Their hearts turned cold. This was too terrifying. They could understand the Golden Lion King's strength because he was a legendary genius of the war race. Lin Xian was actually able to fight against such a legendary genius. It was simply too heaven-defying. On the other side, Lin Xian was also shocked. The other party was indeed a genius of the war race. He was indeed terrifying. The other party's palm was simply too sharp, carrying an incomparably terrifying force that made him extremely shocked. It was only because of his unparalleled combat strength that he was able to block it. If it was any other elite almighties, they would probably have been smashed into a bloody mist. He was actually able to block my attack. On the other side, the Golden Lion King was also extremely surprised. He frowned and his face was incomparably gloomy. Because he was a genius of the war race and was extremely powerful, that palm just now was something that even elite almighties couldn't block. Probably only peak almighties could block it. But now, this young man in front of him actually blocked it and even shattered his attack. It was truly unexpected. But so what? Only death awaited those who dared to fight against him. Therefore, in the next moment, his expression was gloomy. He took a step forward, causing countless cracks to appear in the void. The surrounding sea of lightning was also mercilessly pierced through. Brat, You actually dare to fight against me. Today, I will let you know the power of the war race." The Golden Lion King's voice was ice-cold. His golden hair fluttered in the wind. His gaze was like a sharp blade cutting through the void. At this moment, he was like an ancient war god, causing others to tremble. Lin Xian coldly snorted. The war race was only SOSO. It was just that the legend said that they were too powerful. Today, I will shatter this legend. Lin Xian's body once again emitted an incomparably terrifying sword aura. The sword aura spread out in all directions, causing the sky to change color. At this moment, Lin Xian was like a peerless sword god. His body emitted a sharp and terrifying sword intent. Subsequently, he grasped the supreme-grade saber in his hand, and a terrifying aura crazily surged out. The saber slashed down. Although it was a saber, Lin Xian used a sword technique. The biting cold sword light was like a rainbow, piercing through heaven and earth as it rapidly flew out. "Your attacks have no effect on me at all." The Golden Lion King coldly snorted. "This kind of attack can't hurt me at all." He clenched his fist and punched out with his golden fist. It pierced through all directions and directly blasted the sword aura away. This Golden Lion King's physique was so strong. It could actually fight against a supreme-grade, earth-grade artifact bare-handedly. Those supreme experts and the royal family elders exclaimed in admiration. They were extremely envious. Even they didn't dare to fight against a supreme-grade, earth-grade artifact saber bare-handedly. However, the Golden Lion King easily did it. It had to be said that it was really shocking. This also showed how terrifying the war race was. Lin Xian frowned. The great dragon sword soul within his body surged. Immediately, an even more terrifying sword aura surrounded his body, forming a terrifying sword light. It completely enveloped him. Chapter 2139. Boom. Lin Xian unleashed hundreds of sword chi in a row. His speed had reached the extreme at this moment, and it was almost completed in a blink of an eye. In the sky, the sword light that filled the sky swept in all directions before ruthlessly slashing down. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying sword wave easily cut open the void. Even Taoist Long and the other Almighty's expressions changed. One could imagine how terrifying this sword chi was. Facing thousands of sword chi, the Golden Lion King also frowned. A terrifying divine light burst out from its eyes. The golden light on its body became even more terrifying. It moved its fists and unleashed an incomparably ferocious fist technique. Terrifying light flickered. In the sky, countless golden fists surged and collided with the sword chi in the sky. A shocking battle erupted. Terrifying light shocked the surroundings. Some of the human-shaped lightning that had just formed in the surroundings were directly turned into ashes by the explosion of this energy. Damn it! Where did that kid come from? He could actually withstand so many moves from the Golden Lion King? That's not right. This kid's aura hasn't weakened even until now. How rich is the spiritual energy in his body? Is he really just a 6-star king? Everyone was stunned. If Lin Xian was an elite almighty, it wouldn't be strange for him to have such combat strength. However, the other party was just a 6-star king. Even if a 6-star king could display the combat strength of an elite almighty, the amount of spiritual energy in his body couldn't be compared at all. The difference between an almighty and a 6-star king could be said to be heaven and earth. However, at this moment, Lin Xian seemed to have broken this rule. This shocked everyone. Not to mention Lin Xian, that Golden Lion King was also the same. From the looks of it, he shouldn't be a true almighty. These two people were both 6-star kings, but they had such heaven-defying combat strength. It was really shocking. Just as everyone was exclaiming, the battle ahead became even more intense. Lin Xian's body was filled with sword chi. The dragon sword spirit domain appeared, and then sword light that filled the sky quickly surged out. A lion-like phantom appeared on the Golden Lion King's body. It was like a huge golden mountain. Yang Tian roared, letting out an incomparable roar. Instantly, the sword chi that filled the sky was shattered. Following the Golden Lion King's actions, that Huang Jun Xiongshi immediately raised one of its claws and slapped it towards Lin Xian. It blotted out the sky and covered the earth, annihilating the void. It was as if it was really an ancient ferocious beast, extremely terrifying. Humph! Lin Xian coldly snorted. How could he lose to a demonic beast phantom? He had just subdued the phantom of an immemorial demonic beast, and it was the perfect time to use it against the enemy. Therefore, in the next moment, blood-red sword patterns appeared under his feet and enveloped the surroundings. An overwhelming murderous aura instantly burst out. Boom, boom. A boundless smell of blood emerged, and there seemed to be a sea of blood surging around. The expressions of those powerful beings changed. Countless sword chi intertwined to form an incomparably terrifying primordial phantom. Roar. Boom, boom. That primordial vanity beast covered the sky and covered the sun. As soon as it appeared, it moved its body, and everywhere it passed, the void shattered. Accompanying it was an extremely terrifying aura that caused the adults to feel a chill run down their spines. Damn it, what kind of aura is this? How could it be so terrifying? Why do I have a feeling that my heart is palpitating? Everyone swallowed their saliva and looked up at the black primordial phantom, dumbstruck. That was the immemorial demonic crocodile. Damn it, wasn't that the crocodile? How did he have this primordial phantom? The third prince and the others were all stunned, and their scalps went numb. They had faced this kind of black crocodile before. It was extremely terrifying and could even kill elite mighty beings. Moreover, it was only a young crocodile. In the end, they found out that it was a peerless demonic beast that had been passed down since ancient times. Its strength was extremely terrifying, and they had to use extremely powerful methods to escape. But what was going on now? How could Lin Xian have such a primordial phantom? Wasn't that the power of the dark demonic crocodile's bloodline? How could it appear in his hands? Not to mention the third prince and the others, even the royal elders in the grand imperial hall exclaimed in surprise. Damn it! How did this kid do it? Everyone was stunned. However, an elder exclaimed, Right, didn't a young primordial crocodile disappear earlier? Could it be that it was killed by this kid, and its demonic soul was extracted? When these words were said, the royal elders all sucked in a breath of cold air, because they realized that it was very likely to be the case. However, the other party was actually able to kill a dark demonic crocodile. Moreover, he had successfully refined the demonic soul, which really shocked them. At the same time, they were extremely envious. After all, this was an immemorial demonic soul, which was extremely terrifying. They wondered how the Golden Lion King would resist it. Everyone was looking forward to it, because they knew that the war race, as a race that had been passed down since ancient times, naturally had its own bloodline power. They might be able to use this battle to gain some insight. The Golden Lion King frowned when he saw the primordial phantom filling the sky. Then, the corner of his mouth rose into a cold smile. I thought you had some methods to fight against me. I didn't expect that you only extracted the soul of an immemorial demonic soul. Do you think that you can fight against me like this? The Golden Lion King sneered in disdain. Isn't it just a dark demonic crocodile? I've just killed one. Do you think you can fight against me with just its demonic soul? You are overestimating yourself. What? The Golden Lion King also killed a dark demonic crocodile? Hearing this, everyone was dumbfounded. This was too heaven-defying. When did the Golden Lion King do it? They cried out in surprise. Since the Golden Lion King dared to come to the Dark Canyon alone, he might have encountered the dark demonic crocodile. However, the other party was actually able to successfully kill the dark demonic crocodile. This was enough to prove how powerful and terrifying his strength was. The Golden Lion King's words caused everyone to be shocked. Even Lin Xian frowned. He didn't expect the Golden Lion King to have killed the dark demonic crocodile. However, so what? The immemorial demonic soul had become incomparably powerful in his demon-slaying sword formation. It was definitely not something that could be imagined before. Kill. Therefore, in the next moment, he roared and controlled the immemorial demonic soul to attack. In the sky, the huge immemorial demonic soul emitted a terrifying fluctuation. Then, Its huge body descended rapidly like a mountain. On the other side, the Golden Lion King controlled the Golden Lion Phantom to fight against the immemorial demonic crocodile. The two demonic souls clashed in the sky. The terrifying energy fluctuations caused the space to be destroyed. Even if it was a powerful expert, his heart would tremble. These two immemorial demonic souls were too terrifying. It was as if they were real ancient demonic beasts. In an instant, the two clashed. They were evenly matched and the galaxy was shattered. Buzz. However, at this moment, the Golden Lion King roared. A ray of light from outer space shot towards Lin Xian. Its golden fist was like an eternal light as it blasted over. Chapter 2140. Peng. Lin Xian was still fearless. He waved his long sword and unleashed a terrifying light. It turned into a long rainbow and slashed down. It was so powerful that even the void was trembling. The battle between the two completely drowned the front. Behind them, the third prince and the rest had a gloomy expression because their path was cut off. The two were fighting in front, and they couldn't get through. They could only wait here. Boom, boom, boom. However, at this moment, the light pillar in the distance changed again. An even more majestic aura burst forth as if it would appear at any time. Seeing this scene, the Golden Lion King's eyes turned cold. He didn't want to fight anymore. He turned into a ray of light and flew forward. Compared to fighting, obtaining the rare treasure was more important. Humph. Lin Xian also snorted and used the demigods and semi-devils to chase after them. His speed was very fast. In an instant, he rushed forward. The entire sea of lightning was mercilessly pierced through. Seeing that Lin Xian and the Golden Lion King had finally left, the powerful beings behind heaved a sigh of relief. In the next moment, they didn't delay any longer and quickly moved forward. They finally came to the front. There was a valley there. It was surrounded by mountains on three sides, and there was only one entrance. The walls surrounding the mountain exuded an ancient aura, as if they had existed for thousands of years. Not only that, there were mysterious runes on them. They were very profound. It was impossible to understand. However, the aura they emitted was extremely shocking. The entire valley was almost covered by a huge light. It seemed that the rare treasure was in this valley. Was it here? When the third prince and the rest arrived, they were extremely surprised. They looked forward with fiery eyes. However, there were two figures in front of them, blocking their path. It was Lin Xian and the Golden Lion King. The two of them arrived earlier than them. However, the two of them had an incomparably solemn expression and didn't enter rashly. Boom, boom, boom. Not long after they arrived, the surroundings of the valley began to tremble rapidly. Then, the ground cracked open and fiery red stone pillars appeared. They were also connected to heaven and earth. There were ancient beasts carved on them. They were vivid and lifelike as if they were real. It emitted an incomparably terrifying aura. 9 fiery red stone pillars joined together to form a terrifying array formation, blocking the path. Humph! Get out of my way! At this moment, an old man wielding a supreme-grade saber fiercely slashed forward. Suddenly, the long saber collided with the pillar that was as red as fire. The void trembled as the 9 fiery red pillars connected together, emitting incomparable energy. His appearance was incomparably mysterious. At this moment, the gigantic light pillar in the valley ahead suddenly trembled. A ray of light swept out in all directions like a wave. Not good. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked and wanted to dodge. However, the speed of the light was simply too fast. It enveloped them in an instant. In the next moment, these people were extremely shocked. They all put up a strong defense. But soon, they were stunned because the light didn't cause any harm to them. What's going on? Could it be that he wasn't injured? These people were puzzled. Ka. Cracking sounds could be heard as the old man's saber shattered into countless pieces, scattering all over the ground. No. Damn it. How could this be? That elder cried out in alarm, feeling exceptionally angry. This was a supreme-grade earth-grade saber that he had obtained from the pavilion. The elder was overjoyed to obtain this saber. This was because this saber was not commonly seen in the outside world. A top-grade supreme-grade saber could increase his strength by 1 or 2 times. It could be said that it was absolutely terrifying, but now it had shattered inexplicably. This was something that he could not accept at all. Ka. He was not the only one. The treasures in the hands of the other almighties had all shattered. Even the saber in Lin Xian's hand had broken into 2 halves. This scene made Lin Xian frown. What's going on? How could this be? Not to mention them, everyone was stunned. The Golden Lion King's face was also gloomy because the treasures he had obtained from the pavilion had also shattered into pieces. His expression was incomparably cold. Inside the Grand Imperial Hall, the elders of the royal family began to discuss among themselves when they saw this scene. How could this be? A supreme-grade, earth-grade saber could be said to be incomparably terrifying. If a peerless almighty couldn't shatter it, then even an invincible king couldn't shatter it, right? How could it shatter now? Could it be caused by the light pillar that reached the sky? Heavens! What kind of treasure was this to be able to produce such a terrifying energy? Could it be beyond the earth grade? Could it be a heaven-grade treasure? Thinking of this, they exclaimed again and again. Lin Xian also thought of this possibility, so he looked forward with flickering eyes. At this moment, everyone raised their heads and looked forward. They knew that the treasure in front of them was definitely beyond their imagination. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Just as they were shocked, the 9 red pillars in front of them suddenly bloomed with light and then moved quickly. At the place where they were connected to the ground, countless runes spread out and quickly covered the entire ground. Countless runes flickered, and formations lit up one after another, trapping everyone. Damn it! The third prince and the others' faces changed, and they wanted to quickly dodge. However, not only did these mysterious runes spread to the ground, but they also spread to the void, forming a wall of light. It completely sealed the entire space around them. Therefore, in the next moment, they crashed into the wall of light, and a shocking light burst out. Countless runes flashed, but the wall of light did not shatter. A huge vibration force surged towards these powerhouses, and these powerhouses frantically counterattacked, neutralizing the energy. However, they were trapped. Not only these people, but at this moment, Da Wislong, Lin Xian, the Golden Lion King, and everyone else were completely trapped by the formation. They were sealed. Lin Xian, the Golden Lion King, and the others were completely sealed by the formation. In an instant, everyone's faces turned gloomy. Since they were sealed, then they had to break the formation. Everyone began to study the formation. However, there were 9 fiery red light pillars, and Lin Xian and the others happened to have 9 people, so everyone was separated. They could not join forces and could only study individually. In this way, the third prince's advantage of having more people was gone. The third prince's face was terrifyingly dark. He did not expect this to happen. Lin Xian's lips curled up because he was also a formation master. Therefore, he sat down cross-legged and began to break the formation. On the other side, the Golden Lion King was simpler and more violent because he did not study the formation at all. Instead, he used his incomparably powerful combat strength to fight against the runes that filled the sky. Boom, boom, boom. His golden fist punched forward without any regard for his life, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. Terrifying energy surged. Chapter 2141. But fortunately, everything was sealed by the array formation. Otherwise, this energy alone would be enough to flatten everything within a radius of 10,000 miles. On the other side, mysterious runes appeared on Lin Xian's fingers as he began to crack the array. Moreover, he wasn't cracking it himself. The Crimson Dragon was currently in the Black Earth, so he also let the Crimson Dragon participate in the cracking. The two of them, one in the light and one in the dark, quickly attacked. Although this array was incomparably mysterious and had been passed down from ancient times, under the full strength of Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon, it was quickly resolved. In the end, a crack was torn open. That's great. Lin Xian was overjoyed and increased his speed. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they were all extremely shocked. Heavens, it had only been a few hours, and that kid could already tear open a crack? Who exactly was he? Could it be that he was also an array grandmaster? Taoist Long and the Lord of the Underworld were stunned. On the other side, the third prince's face was gloomy. He was extremely mad. He stared fiercely at the light screen, but there was nothing he could do, because he didn't have the combat strength of the Golden Lion King. In the Grand Imperial Hall, the royal elders were also shocked when they saw this scene. This kid was too terrifying. He was definitely an array grandmaster. But how could he be? Which array grandmaster didn't become one after thousands of years of cultivation? The other party was a young kid in his 20s. Even if his talent was abnormal, it shouldn't be. Besides, were the other array grandmasters as strong as him? A person's energy was limited. How did he do it? These people almost bit off their tongues. However, something even more shocking happened, because at this moment, an earth-shattering sound came from the light screen again. The Golden Lion King's fist smashed into the array formation, creating a crack. This Golden Lion King was too frightening. This was using pure strength to resist the entire ancient array. How heaven-defying had this guy's strength reached? Could it be that he had already reached the level of a peerless almighty? Everyone was terrified. The Golden Lion King's performance was even more terrifying. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He didn't expect the other party's combat strength to be so strong. But so what? His opponent's consumption should be even faster. Moreover, if he summoned the Great Dragon Sword Soul, he would be able to break through the formation as well. Of course, he would not reveal his trump card. Therefore, he used the most primitive method to remove it. Finally, after another 2 hours, Lin Xian smiled. That was because the array in front of him had a 1-meter-long crack. Although the crack wasn't big, it was enough to let him out. In the next moment, his figure flickered, and he came out completely. What? He had really walked out. The faces of the third prince and his crew darkened upon seeing this, as their eyes were filled with despair. Could it be that he was going to let this kid snatch the heavenly treasure? Thinking of this, they desperately slapped the light screen in front of them. On the other side, the Golden Lion King also let out a furious roar. It punched out with both of its fists, which transformed into 2 lions and completely shattered the light screen in front of it. Then, he strode out of the room. Brat, in front of me, you don't have any chance. The Golden Lion King's eyes flickered as it stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian directly made his move. The 9-held demonic sword went up and slashed out. This sword was like a divine rainbow from the heavens. It was extremely terrifying. It didn't look like a sword light at all, but more like a dragon. It covered the entire sky and mercilessly descended. Boom! The Golden Lion King raised its fist and resisted. An earth-shattering collision sound rang out, and a terrifying light burst forth. The void fluctuated violently, and the surrounding space shattered in an instant. Luckily, the third prince and the others were all covered by the formation, blocking this terrifying energy. Otherwise, just the energy shockwaves alone would have seriously injured these people. The Golden Lion King punched down and blasted the sword chi away. At the same time, another golden figure condensed on its body. The surrounding space was completely illuminated. This time, not only was the space illuminated, but it also carried an extremely terrifying murderous aura. It penetrated through every inch of space and attacked Lin Xian. King's domain. This time, it was the Golden Lion King's domain. Even though the third prince and his crew were separated by the array, they still felt their hearts tremble. Lin Xian let out a low roar, and the ice goddess's illusion surged out from his body. The huge ice wings trembled, releasing the power of ice. The surrounding space quickly froze, and countless frost appeared. It was completely frozen. Even the golden light was frozen. It moved very slowly, as if it had entered a quagmire. Ka, ka, ka. Not only that, the terrifying aura of ice spread toward the Golden Lion King, wanting to freeze it as well. However, the Golden Lion King let out a cold snort, and its body emitted an extremely terrifying aura. It was like a golden sun, shining in all directions. Any ice and snow that came close to it would quickly melt. Brat, Your little bit of ice power is useless against me. The Golden Lion King sneered, and a trace of disdain appeared in its eyes. Is that so? Lin Xian snorted, and his eyes flickered. The great dragon sword soul in his body surged, and countless amounts of ice power condensed on his demonic sword. The ice broke. With a swing of the sword, a huge amount of ice sword chi surged, and then an ice sword shadow pierced out. Between heaven and earth, a terrifying storm swept out, and the sword chi crazily engulfed every inch of space. The sharp sword chi contained in it was extremely terrifying, and even the faces of the powerful experts changed. Boom! This sword was extremely terrifying, and it arrived in front of the Golden Lion King in an instant. Even the Golden Lion King was frowning, because this sword was enough to threaten it. Therefore, it let out a cold snort, and its body swayed, quickly dodging. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian laughed. Why? Didn't you say that my ice power is useless against you? Then why are you still dodging? You're just a brat. You're courting death. Hearing this, the Golden Lion King was enraged. In the next moment, light bloomed in its eyes. The Golden Lion King went crazy with anger. No one had ever dared to treat it like this. It let out a roar, and a layer of golden light appeared on its body, as if a peerless beast was awakening. Then, it threw a punch forward. The golden fist was like the sun, emitting thousands of rays of light. Lin Xian also let out a long roar, and the demonic sword in his hand emitted a cold light, as if it had crossed over from the demonic realm. The terrifying sword chi directly slashed down. Boom! The two met, and then collided. It was as if the sky had collapsed, and a terrifying aura burned in all directions. So powerful. These two people were too terrifying. In the surroundings, the third prince, Dao Long, and the others exclaimed, and their mouths were wide open. Each of them looked forward with a serious expression. Buzz! Lin Xian's sword slashed down, as if it had pierced through the 9 heavens, and all kinds of terrifying sword light appeared. On the sword, a dragon-like roar sounded. Chapter 2142. Buzz! Lin Xian's sword slashed over. It was as if it had pierced through the 9 heavens. All sorts of terrifying sword light appeared. The sword let out a dragon-like roar. The Golden Lion King was equally terrifying. It was as if an ancient lion had awakened. Its golden fist destroyed a large area of space. Boom! Boom! Both of them were peerless geniuses. When they attacked with all their might, it was earth-shattering. After the attack, both of them quickly retreated. Their blood was boiling, and their faces were pale. However, their eyes were even more piercingly cold. Seal of the Tailless Lion. Just at this moment, the Golden Lion King coldly shouted. A sharp light burst out from its eyes. Its palms formed a seal, and golden light shone in all directions. A lion phantom appeared and circled in the Golden Lion King's hand. The lion's shadow was extremely terrifying. As soon as it appeared, the sky in all directions collapsed, and terrifying thunder rumbled. The Golden Lion King held the seal of the fearless lion and quickly charged over. Boom! 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 Countless black flames surged out from Lin Xian's body. They burned fiercely like the flames of hell. Soon after, he turned into a huge flaming giant. It was 10,000 feet tall and looked down on the world. The flaming giant clenched its fists. A huge flaming divine sword appeared in its hand and slashed downwards. Boom! 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 Hundreds of thousands of divine swords trembled. The terrifying sword light was hundreds of feet long, and it ruthlessly shattered the void. Kill! The Golden Lion King roared and activated the seal of the fearless lion to contend against it. Intense collisions constantly sounded. Every time, the void was shattered. However, Lin Xian's sword chi was too strong. It caused the seal of the fearless lion to dim and even crack. Seeing this scene, everyone exclaimed, "Could it be that this Lin Xian is even stronger than the Golden Lion King?" They didn't dare to imagine. In the next moment, the seal of the fearless lion in the Golden Lion King's hand shattered. Seeing that the huge flaming sword was about to fall, the Golden Lion King roared. Burning Sun Fist. At this critical moment, he once again unleashed a peerless fist technique. His fist transformed into a golden sun. It was incomparable and shone in all directions. Boom! He punched out, hitting the flaming sword chi, causing cracks to appear on the flaming sword chi. In an instant, the Golden Lion King unleashed over 100 punches. That huge flaming divine sword was broken into 2 halves. Lin Xian was also affected and retreated. The Golden Lion King was so powerful. He actually possessed such a terrifying fist technique. That's right. From the looks of it, the Golden Lion King was still stronger. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. Even the elders of the imperial family cried out in surprise. Lin Xian was sent flying by the shockwave and came to a stop. His face was a little pale, but his eyes were even colder. In the next moment, he was about to unleash an even more powerful ultimate move. However, at this moment, countless runes appeared around him, forming another array. It enveloped him. On the other side, the Golden Lion King was also besieged again. Damn it, it's this formation again. Lin Xian frowned. He didn't expect the array to be able to repair itself. It was beyond his expectations. On the other side, the Golden Lion King was also enraged. It frantically attacked the surrounding runes again. Lin Xian sat down cross-legged. He didn't make a move immediately. Instead, his eyes flickered. Because from the previous exchange, the Golden Lion King was very strong. It was not weaker than him. In fact, it was even stronger than him. Therefore, if he rashly opened the seal and went out to fight, he might not be able to win. Therefore, he had to think of another way. In the next moment, Lin Xian asked via voice transmission, "Ruzalong, is the Heart of Darkness done?" "One is done. I'll give it to you first." The Crimson Dragon replied via voice transmission. He opened his mouth and spat out a Heart of Darkness. Lin Xian raised his hand and formed an array. It formed a light that covered his body. He didn't want others to pry into his secret. Therefore, a few more arrays appeared in the ancient array and covered Lin Xian's figure. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they were all very surprised. They couldn't understand what Lin Xian was trying to do. Lin Xian took out the Heart of Darkness from the black earth and quickly swallowed it. Boom, boom, boom. The Heart of Darkness no longer had the aura of death. Therefore, after being swallowed by Lin Xian, it directly turned into the purest energy. Lin Xian crazily circulated the longevity incantation to digest and absorb this energy. At this moment, he circulated the longevity incantation to the extreme. The longevity incantation was indeed terrifying. It displayed an extremely powerful conversion ability. It allowed Lin Xian to quickly absorb this energy. Lin Xian's cultivation strength was also rapidly increasing. However, the people outside were somewhat puzzled, because at this moment, they couldn't see clearly what Lin Xian was doing. However, no one was in the mood to care. The most important thing now was to break the array. However, this array wasn't that easy to break. Except for Lin Xian and the Golden Lion King, who broke it once. The third prince and the others didn't manage to break it. However, no one gave up. The Golden Lion King also fell into the array again. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. At this moment, an extremely terrifying fluctuation was emitted from Lin Xian's side. Then, all the light on Lin Xian's body disappeared, and his figure appeared again. Seeing this scene, everyone was somewhat surprised. But more than that, they were puzzled. What was this guy doing? However, at this moment, their gazes were attracted by the third prince. Because the third prince relied on the secret technique of the royal family to break the array. He tore a crack and quickly came out. After coming out, the third prince revealed a proud smile. He strode forward, wanting to enter the valley. The third prince succeeded. In the grand imperial hall, the royal family elders exclaimed when they saw this scene. Sure enough, the third prince was indeed powerful. Although he didn't usually fight, as one of the top princes, his strength was definitely not weak. For a moment, everyone's gaze was on the third prince. Lin Xian looked at the scene outside, and the corner of his mouth raised into a cold smile. He asked in a deep voice, Ruzalong, is it done? Don't worry, Bin Huang will definitely do it. In the next moment, another crack was torn in the array in front of Lin Xian. Then, Lin Xian stepped out and walked out. What? This kid broke it again. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. The elders of the imperial family also cried out in alarm. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so terrifying. He actually broke the array for the second time. Even the Golden Lion King let out a furious roar, its eyes cold. Because until now, it hadn't broken the array for the second time. And the other party actually broke it for the second time. It was really shocking. In fact, it wasn't Lin Xian who broke it. Lin Xian had been in the array for a day and night, absorbing the energy of the heart of darkness. The one who broke the array was someone else. Chapter 21:43. In fact, the array was not broken by Lin Xian. Lin Xian had been in the array for an entire day and night, absorbing the energy of the heart of darkness. Someone else was the one who had broken the formation. It was the Crimson Dragon. However, no one knew who it was, but that did not stop them from exclaiming in surprise. The third prince looked at the figure behind him, and his face became extremely ugly. He did not expect Lin Xian to come out as well. This wasn't good news for him. However, he snorted coldly. Kid, I didn't expect you to be so lucky to break the array so quickly. However, I'll show you my strength. Your strength? What strength do you have? Lin Xian sneered. To be honest, he had never seen the third prince fight before. The third prince was trembling with anger. Don't be too arrogant. My strength is definitely beyond your imagination. You'll feel it soon. At the sight of this, all of the Almighties took in a deep breath. The eyes of the royal elders flickered because they knew that the third prince was definitely powerful. Among the princes of the Tai dynasty, he was definitely ranked in the top 3. That kid is dead meat. Does he really think that I'm weak like the princes of the royal family? He'll regret it soon. Of course, the princes of the royal family are all peerless geniuses. With the supreme resources of the royal family, how can they be weak? It's just that these princes are of noble status and don't easily make a move. Once they make a move, they will definitely shock the world. Especially a top prince like the third prince. His combat strength is definitely terrifying. I'm guessing that he's not weaker than the Golden Lion King. The elders also nodded. They knew the strength of these princes. They were definitely incomparably powerful. Sure enough, the third prince's aura changed. Previously, he was unwilling to make a move, but that did not mean that he was not strong. At that moment, his body was emitting a terrifying aura. Countless rays of light surged out of his body, forming a divine rainbow that quickly enveloped his entire body. The aura of a true dragon appeared and turned into a true dragon that circled around the third prince. With the addition of the aura of the true dragon, the third prince's aura became even more terrifying. At that moment, the third prince looked like a natural god of war. Kill. The third prince let out a furious roar and charged forward like a violent dragon. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly as well. Using the demigods and semi-devils, he charged forward like a bolt of lightning. Boom! In the next moment, the two of them collided in the air like two huge meteors colliding. A terrifying sound rang out as resplendent light scattered in all directions. Then, the two of them retreated. The third prince's expression was grave. Lin Xian also frowned. That was because he realized that the third prince was really strong. He definitely surpassed the average genius. It seemed that these princes of the royal family were indeed peerless geniuses. Although they usually did not fight, their strength was definitely not weak. This third prince was definitely not weaker than the first blade. He might even be stronger than a top genius like Bai Zijing. At this moment, Lin Xian's expression was incomparably grave. The third prince was also shocked. His strength was indeed terrifying, even surpassing a peak genius like the first blade. He even believed that he could contend against the Golden Lion King. It was just that he wasn't willing to take the risk. But now, the other party was actually able to fight to a draw with him, which really surprised him. Thinking of this, a murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Then, he charged over again. The two of them erupted into a shocking battle, and terrifying sound waves swept out in all directions. After exchanging dozens of blows, the third prince suddenly struck out with his palm. Suddenly, the shadow of a true dragon quickly appeared, turning into a fierce killing move. This palm was extremely terrifying. It contained a supreme power, like a true dragon. Boom! Lin Xian raised his hand and slashed out. A terrifying sword chi cut through the void and slashed on the giant dragon's palm. The two of them exchanged dozens of blows again, and then they each retreated. What peerless genius! You're nothing in front of me, the third prince sneered. That was because he realized that the other party could only fight to a draw with him, which made him very confident. That was because he still had a trump card in his hand that he had not used yet. You're very confident. But now, it's all over. Lin Xian's body once again surged with a terrifying aura. Feeling this aura, everyone's expression changed. Especially the third prince, whose eyes were filled with fear. Damn it, you're still hiding your strength. You've hidden so much. He was too shocked because he realized that the other party's aura had become stronger than before. Indeed, Lin Xian had become stronger. That was because he had absorbed the energy of the Heart of Darkness. That made his strength even more terrifying than before. Wild Thunder, Heavenly Eagle. In the next moment, Lin Xian decisively attacked. An extremely violent aura surged out of his body, turning into a sharp bolt of lightning that flashed through. Then, the third prince was sent flying. Bang! The third prince was sent flying and smashed through the void. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. The third prince roared at the sky, and the anger of the heavens appeared in his voice. His opponent dared to injure him, which was unforgivable. Therefore, he decided to use his trump card to kill his opponent. However, at that moment, countless runes lit up around him again, and a formation enveloped him again. Damn it! The third prince was furious. He did not expect to be trapped by the formation again before he could make a move. On the other side, Lin Xian turned his head and no longer looked at the other party. However, the surrounding people were silent. Especially the royal elders in the Grand Imperial Hall. They were extremely shocked. They knew the third prince's strength. He was definitely powerful and could fight against the Golden Lion King. Even so, he was still injured. Damn it, that kid's strength has become stronger again. How is this possible? Could it be that he was still hiding his strength? They did not dare to believe it. The Golden Lion King also frowned. In the next moment, he roared, and with a domineering aura and boundless killing intent, he quickly smashed the light screen in front of him. Then, he walked out again. Seeing the Golden Lion King walk out again, Lin Xian also turned his head and looked over. Dense killing intent appeared in his eyes. The Golden Lion King sneered in disdain. Kid, you're not my opponent. Boom. Lin Xian did not say anything and directly attacked. He took a step forward, and his body emitted a monstrous aura. The sword aura that filled the sky swept out, shocking everyone. It directly shattered the 9 heavens. Feeling the change in the aura, the Golden Lion King frowned. His eyes flickered as he stared at Lin Xian. Your aura is stronger than before. No wonder you dared to attack me again. However, it was still useless. After saying that, his figure flashed and instantly appeared beside Lin Xian. His right hand swept out. A huge palm grabbed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian used the demigods and semi-devils and dodged the palm. At the same time, the long sword in his hand turned into a sharp lightning and mercilessly pierced out. Chapter 2144. Clang. The two of them clashed and pulled apart the distance between them. The Golden Lion King frowned slightly, and a look of disbelief appeared on his face. Because in the previous exchange, his entire right arm was filled with frost aura, and his meridians were all sealed. There was even a sharp sword aura that made his entire arm feel numb. This was too unbelievable. How did his opponent's strength become so strong? The surrounding powerhouses and the royal elders all sucked in a breath of cold air. That was because they discovered that the Golden Lion King had actually suffered a loss in the battle just now. This was too inconceivable. One must know that Lin Xian was sent flying by the Golden Lion King with a single palm. After a day, Lin Xian was able to make the Golden Lion King suffer a loss? How did he do it? However, they were still extremely shocked, because these two people were definitely peerless geniuses with endless means. Any one of them would be able to suppress these powerhouses. After succeeding in one move, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He had consumed the heart of darkness and increased his strength by a lot. Moreover, in the previous exchange, he did not use his full strength. That was why everyone thought that he was sent flying. However, this time, he did not plan to hold back. Gaining the upper hand was just the beginning. With his current strength and the great dragon sword soul, he could definitely contend against the Golden Lion King. Therefore, in the next instant, Lin Xian made his move again. He stepped on the demigods and semi-devils and appeared in front of the Golden Lion King in an instant. The 9 underworld demonic sword in his hand emitted a terrifying aura and then mercilessly slashed down. Boom! The Golden Lion King's expression was solemn. He threw out a punch and hit the 9 underworld demonic sword. In an instant, the two of them trembled. Then, the two of them kept retreating. The Golden Lion King stopped his body, and his expression was solemn, because Lin Xian's sword technique was much more terrifying than before. This shocked him, and he had to be careful. It seemed that his opponent's strength had indeed increased. However, he did not know if it was because he held back yesterday, or because he became stronger after a day and a night. But no matter what, it was a big problem for him. "Brat, your swordsmanship is not bad. You can indeed contend against me," the Golden Lion King said in a deep voice. "However, I am merely resisting. I haven't even used my full strength yet. I still have countless trump cards that I haven't used yet. As a genius of the war race, you simply can't imagine what level my strength has reached. Moreover, the war clan is not something you can provoke, so I'll give you a piece of advice. Quickly leave, because you don't have the right to compete with me. But don't worry, after I obtain the peerless treasure, if I'm in a good mood, I can reward you with 1 or 2 cultivation techniques that will benefit you for the rest of your life." What? Hearing this, everyone was shocked. They didn't expect the Golden Lion King to say such words. Lin Xian, on the other hand, frowned. "You're too confident. Do you think you're the only one who hasn't used your full strength? I didn't use my full strength either." Lin Xian's voice was resounding. "However, as for the Battle Clan's cultivation method, you can keep it for yourself. I don't need it. What I need is the rare treasure in front of me. Brat, it seems like you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit." Hearing Lin Xian's words, the Golden Lion King's lips curled up into a cold smile. "My war race was born for battle. How can you contend against me? There's no point in talking anymore. Let's fight." Lin Xian coldly snorted. His gaze focused once again. He had already used many trump cards, but he could only fight to a draw with the Golden Lion King. It seemed like if he wanted to win, he would need to use some special methods. Buzz! The demon-slaying sword array appeared beneath his feet. Soon after, it condensed into the immemorial phantom. At the same time, the dragon sword domain appeared and covered the sky above. This way, the entire sky and earth were her domain. As for Lin Xian, he stood in the air. His body emitted a terrifying primal chaos sword chi. Boom! The immemorial phantom took the initiative to attack. The Golden Lion King struck out with the seal of the fearless lion to contend against it. At the same time, golden flames burned on the Golden Lion King's hands. It was as if 2 golden suns were revolving once again. Burning Sun Fist. Last time, it was this fist that sent Lin Xian flying. However, this time, Lin Xian coldly snorted. Countless primal chaos sword chi gushed out from his body and slashed forward. Boom, boom, boom. What? It was blocked. Seeing that Lin Xian's sword chi was actually able to contend against that golden sun-like fist, everyone exclaimed in shock. Those royal elders were also shocked. They realized that Lin Xian's strength had indeed become stronger. Not only that, what shocked them even more was what happened next. Because Lin Xian let out a long roar. Instantly, The dragon's sword domain above his head emitted countless rays of sword chi. Then, it merged with him. The terrifying sword chi that filled the sky became even more biting cold. It shook the Golden Lion King's arm to the point of numbness. Crack. A crack appeared on the Golden Lion King's fist. Then, blood flowed out. Damn it! How could this be? The Golden Lion King furrowed its brows as a trace of anger appeared in its eyes. Injured. He was actually injured. As for the surrounding people, they were all stunned. Heavens, the Golden Lion King was injured. How could this be? Previously, the Golden Lion King had received a peak-grade Earth-rank artifact with his bare hands. Even then, he was not injured at all. One could imagine how strong the Golden Lion King's physique was. But now, under Lin Xian's sword chi, he was actually injured. There was even blood flying out. Could it be that Lin Xian's sword chi had surpassed a peak-grade artifact? Thinking of this, they swallowed their saliva. In the blink of an eye, the sword wounds on the Golden Lion King's arm increased. Although they were not deep wounds, it was enough to cause blood to flow and dye the void red. Brat, you have really angered me. The Golden Lion King's voice was ice-cold. A terrifying killing intent spread out in all directions. The void behind him exploded, turning into a huge void. As for the Golden Lion King's body, it was constantly tumbling and turning into flames, burning fiercely. Brat, go to hell. 9 heavens golden flame art. The Golden Lion King roared. Then, the golden flames on his body suddenly erupted, engulfing the 9 heavens. The entire space was completely covered by the golden waves. Lin Xian waved his hand. The dragon sword domain above his head quickly covered him. Then, he released countless sword chi. It blocked the golden flames that filled the sky. Boom! The battle broke out again. The two strength was constantly clashing. They were like 2 huge mountains, constantly colliding. The golden flames surged. The sword chi filled the sky. Everywhere it passed, the void would shatter. Nothing could withstand it. Luckily, the third prince and the others were enveloped by the array. Otherwise, they would have been hit by the terrifying energy. Buzz. In this sky filled with energy, the surrounding people could not see clearly. They could only rely on their souls to capture the trajectory. However, at this moment, a sword cry rang out. Then, everyone felt their souls tremble. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.